actually spend.
Well, we made it. It's 8:55 a.m. and we here bright and early. Not that early, but early for us, especially on the Sunday. I usually don't go live this early on the Sunday, but hey, we here and we ready to do the damn thing. Appreciate y'all for joining me. I'm your host, the one on the Stock Sniper. We got a few things that we're going to react to this Sunday morning. Hope everybody having a good Sunday morning. I'm having a great Sunday morning. We had some good UFC fights on last night. You know, a lot of good things that was going. Shout out to the UFC Houston. You know what I'm saying? Everything went well out there. Sean Strickland won that fight. I didn't think he was going to win, you know, but he won and he took care of business. It was a good show last night. A whole lot of good fights. And it could have when the UFC come to Houston, I kind of like, you know, the pay-per-view fights, the main events to really come. But UFC fight night, it was a good show last night. We got to see a lot of good fighters. One guy come from wrestling, come from Oklahoma State University. You know, Oklahoma State University, they known for great wrestlers out of that program. If you come out of Oklahoma State University and you a wrestler, yeah, you're gonna be one tough guy. I can't think of the guy's name. I gotta look it up, but he looked amazing last night, 11-0. You know, typical wrestler, fighter, brawler. You know, if you've been rocking with me as far as the UFC goes, and I always say that wrestlers, you know, guys that with wrestling foundation, but also can punch, kick, grapple, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, you know, those type of guys be the best fighters, you know, and if you look all during the UFC history, those type of fighters with that type of style with a basically a wrestling foundation, those guys are like the best fighters. They always end up being the best MMA fighter, especially a fighter that can, you don't really, for us watching, you don't know that he has a wrestling background because he knows how to cover it up by other ways of fighting. Like, for instance, John Jones. A lot of people don't know that John Jones is a wrestler. He's a foundational wrestler. But you don't know that. A person wouldn't know that because he comes across like he's a kickboxer. He comes across, you know, like he's a Muay Thai fighter. You know what I'm saying? But John Jones is really a wrestler. He has a wrestler's foundation, and that's his main foundation. You know, well, I could go on all day talking about martial arts and fighting styles. I can go all day about that, but that's not really the subject of the stream. Appreciate y'all for joining me on the stream. We got 19 people in the stream, and we really appreciate y'all for coming to rock with us this morning. I am your host, the one and only Stock Sniper. This is the Freedom of Speech channel, and I welcome all. I welcome all. I welcome all. But on to what's going on around the world. Well, this morning, if y'all don't know, Secret Service had to unalive a guy for whatever he did, you know, on Mar-a-Lago. So just as I'm reacting to it, you know, we are just now getting it fresh off the press. And a lot of people are in an uproar on how the guy was handled and how he got unalived. But what we got to understand is that there's a lot of terrorism going on. There's a lot of homegrown terrorism going on. So in other words, fuck around and find out. You know what I'm saying? And it has to be known that, hey, if you come and you come and try to infiltrate on anybody that has anything to do with politics, any one of these lawmakers, and you want to try and violate them, and you want to try and break the law and come over and impose a threat, you're going to fuck around and find out. So a lot of people don't like that. But if I'm in government and I hold a title, you know, I have to be protected at all costs. So that means that if anybody comes because they don't like the policies or they don't like this or they just in their feelings, because, you know, a lot of people these days are just emotional and they just are in their feelings. So if somebody come, you know, and try to violate me, you know, then guess what? You're going to die. Point blank, period. So I appreciate y'all for joining me. Let's go. Let's see what it's all about this morning. Also, we are also remembering and we also mourning the great Reverend Jesse Jackson. We're going to cover that a little bit. We're going to watch some old videos of Jesse Jackson when he's talking about empowerment. He's talking about economics, you know, inside of the Black community. We need to focus on economics. We need to focus on education. We need to focus on growth, right? And that need to be our main targets. So we're going to react just a little bit to what happened between Donald Trump and Mar-a-Lago over here. Let's go, Chad. Where it's at? Right here.
His weekends carrying what appeared to be a shotgun and a fuel can. Now, we are told that he raised that weapon when he was told to put it down. So that, of course, led, according to investigators, to the fatal shooting itself. We're also told that no U.S. Secret Service or sheriff's deputies there were injured. There were no Secret Service protectees present at the location at the time of the incident. President Trump does remain over at the White House in D.C., where he's believed to be in a meeting right now. We have not heard any kind of reaction from him just yet. We can expect that we likely will, either first on Truth Social, then maybe in person, as members of the media are outside potentially trying to ask him questions there. So we'll let you know as soon as we get that, and any kind of reaction we'll bring to you right here in full, as we always do on Live Now from Fox. We are going to head to a quick 2-minute commercial.
Now, you see, according to the report, he has some kind of bomb, potential bomb type canister or whatever in his hand. So you come around the president, or you enter the president's residence, or come on his property, you got some type of bomb bottle type substance, you should expect, you know, that bad things are going to happen. But you know, a lot of people these days that's coming to do these things, they already know that they're going to die. And guess what? When it's called what they call the suicide bombers, you know, homegrown terrorists, where you go there to take care of what you need to take care of, knowing that you're going to die. That's why you can't play with these people. You got to get them out of there, because you know it could be a suicide bomber, you know, anything. So, I mean, a lot of people are in their feelings about the situation, but hey, you fuck around and find out. That's a real statement right there. And that's how it should go. Fuck around and find out. Here we go.
All right, good afternoon. I'm Sheriff Kevin McMahill with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. With me today is Chief Timothy Shea of the Boulder City Police Department and our special agent in charge of the local FBI
really
office,
find out what
Christopher
really transpired.
We're here to provide information regarding a critical incident that started last night at an LA Department of Water and Power facility located near Boulder City. First and foremost, I'd like to make sure that our communities all understand that there is no ongoing threat at this time.
Let's see.
At approximately 10 a.m., Boulder City Police Dispatch received a 911 call.
We'll come back to that,
a vehicle crash.
We're going to carry on with the show. Appreciate y'all for joining me. Let's go.
The kind of a mistake that you serve 50 years in jail for, like maybe a couple of months, maybe less than that. And I said, this is the most unfair. And then when I met her, I fell in love.
No, we're going to go back.
My wife was very upset with it. Our great First Lady did not like that.
Through the gate. You'll see on the monitor to my left, you'll see the vehicle approach.
They're saying this is a terrorism. Allegedly a terrorist
video you watch from the right, you'll see the vehicle crash right through the gate into the power facility. At approximately 1 p.m., LVMPD was notified and our counterterrorism section responded to assist. Upon arrival, officers observed, obviously, the broken perimeter fence, consistent with the vehicle being intentionally driven through it, a debris field leading to the silver Nissan Sentra bearing New York license plates. The vehicle was stopped against large industrial wire reels, as you can see in the photograph to my left. And as they got closer, they observed a deceased male subject in the driver's seat with an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. The subject
You
was
see,
also
Chad?
holding a shotgun. You'll notice
You can't play with
at
these
the,
people.
in that previous picture, there's a gunshot through the windshield of the vehicle as well. The officers were also able to observe multiple firearms visible inside of the vehicle. In coordination with the Albany Police Department, we learned that the suspect had recently been reported missing out of New York and that he had communicated with family members just prior to this incident. The suspect had made multiple statements referencing self-harm and alluding to committing an act that would place him, quote, on the news, unquote. In a message to his mother, the suspect referred to himself as a dead terrorist son and stated he felt he had an obligation to carry out his act. We also confirmed through the license plate reader data that the suspect traveled from New York to Nevada in a rental vehicle. You see that LPR data on the screen to my left. Currently, LVMPD Counterterrorism and FBI Las Vegas have been working through the night to advance this investigation. Electronic search warrants were executed on the suspect vehicle. A search warrant was also completed at the El Rancho Boulder Hotel where the suspect had been staying. Our Armor Task Force systematically cleared the vehicle for secondary threats. Given the location and the materials discovered, this incident was treated as a terrorism-related event. The evidence recovered, the search from the hotel room revealed multiple books. You'll see those on the screen to my left related to extremist ideologies, including right and left-wing extremism, environmental extremism, white supremacy, and anti-government ideology. We also recovered explosive materials and components to include thermite, ammonium nitrate, magnesium ribbon, metal pipes, and gasoline. The search from the rental vehicle revealed 2 shotguns, an AR-style pistol, numerous loaded AR magazines with .223 ammunition, a box of shotgun shells, 2 devices described as flamethrowers containing thermite material, a crowbar and a hatchet, and a cellular phone which is currently being forensically analyzed. Additionally, we discovered the suspect was wearing soft body armor at the time of this incident. These findings significantly elevate the seriousness of this incident. Over the past few years, we've responded to numerous counterterrorism-related events and evolving threat situations.
Hello, James. How you doing?
Each time, our teams have done a remarkable job addressing the various issues. Homeland Security remains a top priority for me as your sheriff, and will continue to invest in the people, the technology, and the intelligence capability and partnership to stay ahead of this. I want to conclude my initial remarks by saying this is another coordinated, multi-agency investigation, and we're currently working very closely with our partners from the FBI and the Boulder City Police Department, as well as additional federal agencies. I'll now turn over the next part of the briefing to our FBI Special Agent in Charge, Christopher Delzato.
Thank you, Sheriff. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. This is still an active investigation. FBI Las Vegas is working with our colleagues at FBI Albany, but I want to provide as much information as I can at this point. So yesterday, February 19th, FBI Las Vegas personnel from our Joint Terrorism Task Force responded to the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power electrical substation located at 875 El Dorado Valley Drive in Boulder City, Nevada. The sheriff covered the specifics of the vehicle crash and the evidence recovered in Las Vegas, so I'd like to spend a little bit of time talking about some of the details, that evidence we recovered up in Albany. So in coordination with FBI Albany's state and local partners, 2 additional search warrants were executed in New York. Recovered from 1 Albany residence were electronics. Those electronics are currently being pulled for evidence. Recovered from an additional residence in Albany were several gun components needed to assemble a firearm, a 3D printer as well. Based on the information we've uncovered so far, We believe Mr. Maloney rented a car in Albany, as the sheriff mentioned, on February 12th and departed the area sometime around the 14th to drive across the country to Boulder City. Our partners at FBI Albany are the lead on this investigation, which is now focused on determining any additional information related to Mr. Maloney in this incident. They will be conducting additional interviews related to the investigation and will provide any necessary updates. We'd like to thank our law enforcement partners across the country for their incredible cooperation, including obviously Las Vegas Metro and the sheriff here, and assistance with this investigation. We'd also like to thank both the U.S. Attorney offices in the Northern District of New York as well as the District of Nevada. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Tim Shea. I'm the Chief of Boulder City Police Department, and I want to say we appreciate the partnerships and coordination that are evident in this case. I want to just point out that there's no indication of major damage to any of the critical infrastructure. There are also no known service interruptions, and the scene remains active investigation as it continues and the processing continues of the evidence. We also recognize the gravity of an armed individual intentionally breaching the power facility while in possession of incendiary components. Our responsibility is to identify threats early and act decisively and protect critical infrastructure. Because of the rapid response and coordination in law enforcement action, this incident was contained quickly. There is no continuing threat to the community. And I want to emphasize that the public can play a critical role in the protection of these critical investigations and structures by following the see something, say something guidance. Thank you, and I'll turn it back to the sheriff.
Oh yeah, if you just not joining, we already had a guy early this morning fatally shot at Mar-a-Lago. If you don't know what Mar-a-Lago is, that's Donald Trump's house. The man, he was carrying a shotgun and a fuel can. And guess what? Fuck around, find out. Secret Service did exactly what they were supposed to do. This right here is another attack at a power station.
We don't know yet. We're still going through all the search warrant material as well as the data that we're receiving from both New York as well as locally.
And Victoria, Fox 5. Has the suspect been here before? Clearly not a Southern Nevada resident. Did he scope this area out?
The question is, has the suspect been here before? And as we sit here today, I can't answer that question. I'm not certain that he has been here before previously or not. David?
David Charnes, now, 2 questions for you. So LA has this facility. Can you just explain why? Obviously, there's a lot of power stuff down there. What does this facility do for them?
Tim, you want to answer that question, or you want me to take a stab at it?
Take a stab at it, boss.
Okay, so the question is LA has this property here in Southern Nevada, and the answer is that it is a power facility that works closely with Hoover Dam, and the power is a transfer facility so that a large portion of the power that comes from here is transferred to the LA basin for power. And that's really the extent of what I know about it now. We're working with the company to better understand that, but it's not uncommon for these large solar fields in Nevada to power other states.
The timing, so you said that the crash happened at 10 a.m. So when was someone notified to actually go out there, whether it's Metro or Boulder City?
So Boulder City, the question is, when was the initial notification made? Boulder City responded initially as a potential suicide out in that particular area. It takes a little while for those officers to get out there safely, to get inside of the perimeter of these types of facilities due to the amount of electricity that's occurring out there. So once they were able to get out there and determine that a suicide had occurred and the suspicious circumstances that were surrounding it, we then coordinated both with our counterterrorism section and the local FBI office, and then that led us to where we're sitting here today.
We saw video of him just literally, the gate didn't do much. You talked about some of this stuff this morning about Las Vegas being a target. The almost exact same thing happened 3 years ago up in Apex, where that person ultimately was charged and did not kill themselves. So I don't want you to repeat yourself from this morning, but we clearly have an issue with people targeting these substations, and what can we do so they can't just do that?
Yeah, so David asked about the incident that we had a number of years ago up north near the Apex event and the vulnerabilities that we have in these power plants, and that's something that we're continuing to look at. We know in this particular case, there are private security officers that are out there. There's video, unlike we had not had in the previous incidents. So there are things that they've done to target harden that. I will tell you that in speaking with Chief Shea, they also have a robust relationship with the Boulder City Police Department out there, and so we'll continue to look at how we target harden those locations. I know, Kristen, you had another question.
When the suspect ran into that fence, how far did he get into that area before he was stopped? And do you know if it appears he may have died by suicide after his car stopped or as he may have been trying to drive through?
The question is, how far did he get in, and did he commit suicide before he was stopped by those wire? We believe that the wire barrels stopped him, and he committed suicide. The actual distance, I haven't been briefed on that distance yet, but we can provide that information as we move forward. One more, sir.
Brian Horwath, Review Journal. So this guy Maloney, can you talk at all about anything else in his background that would lead to thoughts about anything that rises to this level?
The question is, there's anything in Mr. Horwath or the suspect's background as to would lead me to indicate why he did what he did, and it's too early in the investigation for me to tell you that. We're going through, obviously, all the computers, all the documents. You saw this smorgasbord of radical literature that is there. This is something that we have seen in the last couple of years, that individuals will take very left-wing ideology, very right-wing ideology, combine it with a cult and a number of different types of things, and then they come up with their own ideology, right? So we really don't know here what has caused this extremism. There's some indications that there had been potentially some early online activity that he had alluded to, but it's too early for me to tell you with any definitive ability that these are the things that caused that. But as we continue in the investigation, we'll certainly come back and provide you additional updates, and we thank you very much for coming and covering this. Have a good day.
All right, wanted to bring you that news conference in case you missed it there. As you heard, that was investigators over in Las Vegas, including the Las Vegas sheriff, speaking about the overall investigation there in this quote-unquote terrorism-related event. Now, of course, we will bring you any updates as soon as we get them, as always, here on Live Now from Fox. If you are just joining us on this Sunday morning, thank you so much.
Ridiculous. 22 years. She had 28 left. And I said, let's get her the hell out. And we got her out. We did a commute. And then when I got to know her, she was so high quality. I said, full pardon. So she's cleaner than anybody in this room, even than my friend right here. She's cleaner. Because of that, she's cleaner than anybody in this room.
Thank you, Mr. President. The feeling was mutual. I fell in love with this man, with his heart for this country, with his heart to really bring America back to the form of greatness that it deserved. And that's exactly what he has done. My story is truly a Joseph story. This president right here, President Donald Trump, brought me from the prison pit to the White House. Only in America could there be a story like my story. And President Trump is the only president who would have had the courage to bring someone like me, someone who received a second chance, but who knows more than someone who has sit among the captives, than someone who has been in captivity themselves. I did not get comfortable in my own freedom, but I went back, as Harriet Tubman said she did. She went back to draw many others into freedom. And President Trump has listened to those recommendations. There's so much more to come, because when you see me, you see a miracle, you see hope, you see second chances, and you see someone who is willing to roll up their sleeves and do the work, do the hard work to help individuals gain their freedom. President Trump did something historic in his first term. He signed the First Step Act into law. And for that, over 40,000, and that number is low, over 40,000 individuals have come home to their families early. And you know, many of those were Black Americans who had no hope. This president right here, as you look out upon this sea of Black Americans, this president hears you. This president cares for you. Don't let anyone tell you that this president right here, Donald Trump, is not for Black America, because he is. I'm standing here today as a testament to how he feels about Black Americans. There has never been a position like this. I don't know if there ever will be before. But I worked with him in his first term, and I'm proud to now officially have the title to make it happen. Let's get real with the realness. Let's get behind President Trump, who truly has turned our nation around and made us the envy of every country in the world. Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, God, for recognizing and raising up this man to be the leader of the free world. I love you.
She's a great woman. You know, when I was looking for a pardon person, like a pardon czar, they gave me somebody from Harvard, somebody from Yale, somebody from Princeton, somebody from Penn, somebody from Stanford. And I said, do you know anything about it? Well, we can learn. You know, they can learn. And when I met Alice, I said, she's better than these people. And she's done a fantastic job. You know, I said to Alice, I said, so I'm looking for people like you to let out. How many people are there like you? She said, many. I said, many in jail? Think of it, 22 years she was in jail, and she had 28 years to go on a phone call. You admit you did a little something wrong, right? But it was like, okay, it wasn't 50 years. Even if you said 6 months, today it would be probably nothing. But even if you said some little time, but I said, I'm looking for other people like you. How many are there? Many. Then I was worried, because I said, well, maybe she's going to say everybody should be let out. We're not a believer in that. I said, so Alice, are there people that shouldn't be? You met a lot of people, right? Are there people that shouldn't be let out? Absolutely. Then I felt better. Because there's some bad ones in there too, right? But you are fantastic, and you've been great and so respected all over the country, all over the world, in a sense. You've become a very big story. Thank you very much, Alice. I appreciate it. And we have Lynn Patton. Lynn, thank you. You've been such a help. And Kelly Mitchell, thank you, Kelly. Thank you. Where's Kelly? Thank you, Kelly. And we have, Dr. Alveda King. Thank you, darling. Thank you. You've been with me from day one, right? From day one, she's been there. She's been fighting for me, and I fight for her. I don't have to do too much fighting for her. She takes care of herself. Thank you. Thank you. We can say Merry Christmas is right. Thank you. Thank you for all that support for years, right? Even before Alice, a long time, years before Alice, right? Thank you, darling. Corinne Rankin, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, Corinne. And Deontay Johnson, thank you. And a man who's been with me for a long time, and he's never asked me for a thing. Bruce, thank you very much. Bruce Lavelle, thank you very much. I wasn't sure if they had your name down here, Bruce. I was going to mention you anyway, okay? But they had your name. They did a job, finally. They always leave a lot of names out, and that bothers me. Like I see Scott Bessent, his name was left out. First time ever. Look at Scott. I'm looking for his name. I said, I bet he's the greatest Treasury Secretary we've ever had. I think how's the economy doing, Scott? Good? The best. It's really, people are going to see, and watch the State of the Union. We're going to be talking about the economy. We inherited a mess, and now we have prices way down. We have energy way down. Gasoline is now breaking $2 a gallon in many places, and it's been actually amazing. But Scott's fantastic. I don't want to forget to mention him. I'd be in big trouble. All of a sudden, the economy would turn bad on us. I'd say, what happened? It was Scott. Thank you, Scott. And Secretary Lori Chavez DeRemer. Lori, thank you very much. Secretary of Labor, Assistant Attorney General Harmeet Diller. How are you doing? How are you doing with Harvard? How are you doing with Harvard? You know, Harvard's extremely discriminatory, unfortunately, and it's working good. Harmeet is on their trail, right? Good, good. You keep suing them. The hell with them. I like the historically black colleges and universities, which I saved. Leo 2.0 said it, but which I saved. We saved them. They had no funding, and every year they'd come back, and I got to know some of the heads, and every year they'd come back, and after my third year, first term, I said, you guys keep coming back. Why do you keep coming back? He said, we have to come back every year. For years and years, they had to come back. And one of them said, one of the heads, a great guy, said, they make us feel like beggars. We have to come back. I said, I'm going to get you long-term financing, and I got it for them. And I said, the only bad thing, I'll never see you guys again. I haven't seen too many of them. But we took care of the historically black colleges and universities, right? And it was a great thing to do. And so many others are in the audience that are just friends of mine. I look at them, so many. But if I introduce all of you, we're going to be here a long time, and that's unacceptable. Not only are we celebrating the century of Black History Month, also, as you know, this year we'll also be celebrating the 250th anniversary of our nation's founding. And the good thing, when they cheated on the election, they made me wait 4 years, and because I waited 4 years.
What's up, Chad? I think we're going to a lot of people coming in now. If you don't know what happened early this morning, a man was shot and unalived because he was trying to, come on Donald Trump's property, might as well say house, and he had a gun and a gas canister, according to the reports, and they fatally shot him, so we're going to react to that right now, since we got a lot of people voting. If you're just not coming in, hit that like button and go vote. Please, I need y'all to vote. The votes are really, 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 really close. People that know about it, a lot of people are saying that they were kind of out of line for the way they did him, but we got to get the full story on what really happened from their point of view. So here we go, chat.
Press conference for you all. Any other logistical questions? Okay, thank you.
All right, just giving some technical information right there. We learned the order of speakers. We're going to have representatives with the Sheriff's Office, as well as Secret Service, Miami Bureau, and then the FBI, the Miami Office Special Agent in Charge, will speak as well. So we'll hear first from Sheriff Rick Bradshaw, who is walking up right now.
All right, couple of ground rules before we get going. I'm going to give you all the information that I can give you and I'm allowed to give you. The other two gentlemen with me will give you a brief statement also. After that, we'll ask for a couple questions. We're not going to take a lot, but I want to warn you right now. Make them relevant to exactly what I'm talking about, all right? No what ifs, what about this? Don't get off base, because we're not going to answer that. We're going to give you what we know and what we can. All right, so keep that in mind. So you good to go? All right. My name's Rick Bradshaw. I'm the sheriff in Palm Beach County. I have with me from the FBI Special Agent in Charge Brett Skiles, Special Agent in Charge Rafael Barrios from the Secret Service. Also, I have Resident Agent in Charge David Clancy. At 1:30 this morning, the security detail detected that a individual had made his way into the inner perimeter of Mar-a-Lago. A deputy and 2 Secret Service agents on the detail went to that area to investigate. They confronted a white male that was carrying a gas can and a shotgun. He was ordered to drop those 2 pieces of equipment that he had with him, at which time he put down the gas can, raised the shotgun to a shooting position. At that point in time, the deputy and the 2 Secret Service agents fired their weapons and neutralized the threat. He is deceased at the scene. I'll give you a picture of the shotgun and the gas can to have with you. So that's what we know now.
Well, according to the story, that was justified. They asked him to put the gun down and the gas canister. He put down the gas canister. According to the sheriffs in the reports, he put down the gas canister and pointed the gun at him. There you go. Let me rewind it a little bit. Let me rewind it before we carry on.
With me from the FBI, Special Agent in Charge Brett Skiles, Special Agent in Charge Rafael Barrios from the Secret Service. Also, I have Resident Agent in Charge David Clancy. At 1:30 this morning, the security detail detected that a individual had made his way into the inner perimeter of Mar-a-Lago. A deputy and 2 Secret Service agents on the detail went to that area to investigate. They confronted a white male that was carrying a gas can and a shotgun. He was ordered to drop those 2 pieces of equipment that he had with him, at which time he put down the gas can, raised the shotgun to a shooting position. At that point in time, the deputy and the 2 Secret Service agents fired their weapons and neutralized the threat. He is deceased at the scene. I'll give you a picture of the shotgun and the gas can to have with you. So that's what we know now. Investigation continues. The FBI is the lead investigation agency on this case, and we will be assisting them in whatever manner they would like, and they will be responsible for answering any other questions at an appropriate time. Agent Skiles. Thank you, sir.
Good morning. Again, my name is Brett Skiles. I'm the Special Agent in Charge for the FBI's Miami Field Office. First of all, I'd like to thank the Secret Service and Palm Beach Sheriff's Office for their quick response in this matter and close collaboration. Since this area of the shooting was under Secret Service protection at the time, the FBI is assisting the investigation. Currently, our evidence response team is processing the scene, collecting evidence, and we'll continue to work the scene for as long as it takes. One thing I would ask the public is if you live in the area of the shooting, please check your exterior cameras for last night, early this morning. If you see anything that looks suspicious or out of place, please contact us at 1-800-CALL-FBI or contact the West Palm Beach Sheriff's Office. Thank you.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Rafael Barrios. I'm the Special Agent in Charge of Secret Service Miami Field Office. Earlier today, 2 special agents from the Secret Service and a deputy from the Palm Beach Sheriff's Office were involved in an officer-involved shooting while responding to an armed individual at one of the gates at Mar-a-Lago. Preliminary information indicates that the individual was armed with a shotgun and a possession of a gasoline canister. Agents and the deputy discharged their firearms to stop the threat. At this time, no law enforcement personnel were injured during the incident. We want to be clear, the President of the United States was not in the state of Florida. And this remains an active investigation by the FBI. Thank you.
Okay, this is the picture that I'm going to give you of the shotgun and the gas can, so you got it with us. All right, so you'll have that. Like I said, there's a lot more investigation to be done. FBI is the lead agency. We'll be assisting them. And fortunately, nobody was in jeopardy inside because of the quick action that was taken by the deputies and the Secret Service. All right, do we have any relative questions? All right.
Anybody that's going against that, what they just explained to us, something is wrong. Somebody come up on your property with a shotgun and a gas can, it can't be good. You know, you can't take a chance. So a lot of people were saying that it was unjustified. But according to these cops, how's that unjustified? It ain't got nothing to do with being on the left or on the right. It has something to do with fuck around, find out. You come on my property with a shotgun and a canister with a gas canister, and then they gave him a chance. Put it down. See, that's another thing, chat. They were supposed to took him out automatically, but they didn't take him out automatically. They gave him a chance to put the stuff down, and he put the gas canister down and pointed the gun right at him, according to the sheriff's reports. Now, it's still more investigation that got to come out, but 9 times out of 10, probably 10 out of 10, what this sheriff is saying absolutely happened. But Donald Trump wasn't there, but you never know who was there, you know? So as we vote, that's why I had to play this, because just about half and half, you know, on this vote. But logically thinking, if somebody come on your property with a shotgun and a gas canister, and you got, you know, and you got your guns with you, you're not going to give them the chance to take it down. You're not going to say, put that down, put that down. No. As soon as you see them, it's on.
Yeah, we're going to give it to you. All right? Okay, that's it for today. Say that again, ma'am. There's 2 agencies involved: Sheriff's Office, Secret Service. Well, that's under investigation right now. Okay?
Was this person known to law enforcement prior to the incident?
Not right now.
Can you clarify where on the perimeter it happened? You mentioned
At
by
the
the
gate.
gate?
Yeah.
At the front gate over there?
Yep.
Okay.
They're the north side.
North side. Were they inside of the gate or no?
He was just inside the inner perimeter, yes. All right?
Was anyone involved wearing body cameras?
Pardon me?
Was anyone wearing body cameras?
Yes, we always do.
Were any words exchanged between the officers?
Well, there you go.
Only words that we said to him was drop the items, which means the gas can and the shotgun.
But the suspect never spoke?
He put the gas can down and pointed the shotgun at the officers.
Was the shotgun loaded? The shotgun was...
I don't know.
How many shots were fired?
Don't know that either yet. It's part of the investigation. Okay, folks, thanks for being here. That's it. Sheriff,
Thank you.
Wow, there you go, chat. I had to play a little bit of it. So let's go back over here to Donald Trump's Black History Month celebration. As we can see, that one lady did 22 years in prison, and Donald Trump let her out thanks to the First Step Act. And she got out for basically, I don't think it was a nonviolent crime, and she did 22 years and had 28 more to go. And because of the First Step Act, she was able to get released, which is one part of the First Step Act with its criminal reform. We already talked about the opportunity zones. So now we're talking about another element of the First Step Act, which is prison reform, when you got people doing all this time basically for nonviolent offenses. And thanks to the First Step Act, not just that lady, she just represents a whole lot of people that were let out of prison, basically, you know, for crimes that to these days are misdemeanors or basically a slap on the wrist. So let's go back over here and watch Donald Trump basically celebrate and honor these people that basically basically who he let out of jail, and I think it's a grandmother that's going to come up too. Basically, a lot of people that Donald Trump helped, you know, in part of this Black History Month. Appreciate y'all for joining me, chat. If you agree or disagree, it's all good. This is the Freedom of Speech channel. You know, we just talk about the things like-minded people and put the information out there. Let's go.
So I got the World Cup, and I said, you know, it's too bad before all this nonsense took place. I said, it's too bad. I got the World Cup to come here. Johnny, another Johnny, we got the World Cup. It was fantastic, the head of it, one of the great people. And I said, the only bad part is I won't be in office because my 4 years will be up. This would have been the more traditional route. And then they cheated on the election, and I said, now we won by so much. We won by millions of votes, but they cheated. It was during a COVID period, and they cheated. And we did it again, and we made it too big to rig, too big to rig. And by doing that, I ended up getting the Olympics. I ended up, because we were responsible for both of them. And we're going to have a great year, but we're going to have a great 3 years. We're going to have hopefully we're going to have a great century, because that's ultimately what it is. We'll get it started. But as we honor America's 250, and I can't say that I got the 250. I tried doing that a couple of times, Bruce. I said, I got the Olympics, I got the World Cup, and I got the 250th year. They said, you didn't do that. I said, you're right about that. I didn't do 250. We happened to be here at the right time. That's all that was. But we thank God for the strength and courage and grit and devotion of Black Americans who have helped make America the most powerful country in the history of the world. We now have. And you saw that with our attack a few weeks ago on Venezuela. We have the greatest military in the world. We make the greatest equipment in the world. There's nobody even close. Nearly 10,000 African Americans fought for the patriot cause in the Revolutionary War. Did you know that? 10,000, and it's actually a number even, I've heard even higher than that, helping secure our independence in every generation since, from the Buffalo Soldiers to the Tuskegee Airmen. Black Americans have stepped forward to defend the flag and to defend our country like few others, really, like few others. And you've never really been given the recognition that you should get for that. You know that, Ben? I don't think a lot of people have given the kind of recognition, but everyone knows all about the Tuskegee Airmen. They were great and amazing.
Dolly Doyle, I appreciate your opinion, but what if somebody come on your property like that with a gun and the gas canister? Then what? And you have to do what they just did. And then those cops come and tell what happened at your location. Would you think that would be a lie? Just saying. What if that happened at your location? What if somebody come kick your door in? What if somebody, you see somebody on your camera on your property with a gun? You know, I understand a lot of people, you know, don't like, you know, Trump, but we got to we have to get out of our feelings and think rational in reality. Because if those same cops, if what we just seen was your story, you wouldn't be calling it a lie, would you, Dolly Doll? You wouldn't be calling it a lie. So we got to think about some things. I understand that, you know, a lot of us don't like the guy or whatever the case may be, but we got to get out our feelings and think reality, because that would just happen at his house could easily happen at my house or yours. And guess what? If you have to do that, you're going to call the same cops that you saying lie. You're going to call them. And you ain't, and when they tell us your story or tell you my story, I ain't gonna want other people to think that they're lying, you know, on me, and you ain't gonna want them to think that they're lying on you. But I appreciate, you know, the comment. This is the Freedom of Speech channel. But you got to think about it, you know, different ways.
The Buffalo Soldiers. Do you know the Buffalo Soldiers? Good stuff, right? From jazz to the blues. That you know, that you do get recognition for. Jazz, the blues, from rock and roll to rap. Black artists like Chuck Berry, Muddy Waters. How about Nicki Minaj? Do we love Nicki Minaj? Right? I love Nicki Minaj. She was here a couple of weeks ago. She's so beautiful. Her skin's so beautiful. I said, Nicki is so beautiful. Her nails are like that long. I said, Nicki, are they real? She said, she didn't want to get into that. But she was so beautiful and so great. And she gets it. You know, more importantly, frankly, she gets it. But black leaders from Frederick Douglass to Martin Luther King, right? Little relative over here, have made our country freer, and really what they've really done is made life more just. And black athletes have inspired billions around the globe, from Sugar Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Leonard also, by the way, great, what a great fighter. Muhammad Ali, who was a friend of mine. I put a picture of myself and Muhammad. It was another piece of work. You talk about a piece of work. But he could fight, couldn't he, huh? Mike Tyson, boy, I tell you, Mike has been loyal to me. Whenever they come out, they say, Trump's a racist. You know, it's like a statement. Trump's a racist. Mike Tyson goes, he's not a racist. He's my friend. He's been there from the beginning, good times and bad. But Mike Tyson's a great guy, and he was so loyal, always been loyal. And Herschel Walker, speaking about loyal, how good a football player was Herschel? Herschel Walker, now he's ambassador to the Bahamas. I don't know, Bahamas, Bermuda. Is he Bahamas? Whatever. It's nice, a nice place. You'd like that, Bruce, wouldn't you? Bruce wants it. And
see, Chad, that's what Trump care about. Loyalty. That's exactly what he care about, loyalty. But I gotta do something real quick, Chad. So just give me a second. I gotta rewind this a little bit. Cause please forgive me. I got something I gotta do. I gotta clip this up. I'm gonna just keep it real with y'all. Appreciate y'all for joining me. I'm your host, the one and only Stock Sniper. And this is the Freedom of Speech channel. And if you don't know, we are changing the channel name to Freedom of Speech.
And she
TV or channel.
And she gets it, you know, more importantly, frankly, she gets it. But black leaders from Frederick Douglass to Martin Luther King, right? Little relative over here, have made our country freer, and really what they've really done is made life more just. And black athletes have inspired billions around the globe, from Sugar Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Leonard also, by the way, great. What a and you saw that with our attack a few weeks ago on Venezuela. We have the greatest military in the world. We make the greatest equipment in the world. There's nobody even close. Nearly 10,000 African Americans fought for the patriot cause in the Revolutionary War. Did you know that? 10,000, and it's actually a number even, I've heard even higher than that, helping secure our independence in every generation since, from the Buffalo Soldiers to the Tuskegee Airmen. Black Americans have stepped forward to defend the flag and to defend our country like few others, really, like few others. And you've never really been given the recognition that you should get for that. You know that, Ben? They never, I don't think a lot of people have given the kind of recognition, but everyone knows all about the Tuskegee Airmen. They were great and amazing. The Buffalo Soldiers. Do you know the Buffalo Soldiers? Good stuff, right? From jazz to the blues. That you know, that you do get recognition for. Jazz, the blues, from rock and roll to rap. Black artists like Chuck Berry, Muddy Waters. How about Nicki Minaj? Do we love Nicki Minaj? Right? I love Nicki Minaj. She was here a couple of weeks ago. She's so beautiful. Her skin's so beautiful. I said, Nicki is so beautiful. Her nails are like that long. I said, Nicki, are they real? She said, she didn't want to get into that. But she was so beautiful and so great. And she gets it, you know, more importantly, frankly, she gets it. But black leaders from Frederick Douglass to Martin Luther King, right? Little relative over here,
He said
have
little
made our
relative.
country freer, and really what they've really done is made life more just. And black athletes have inspired billions around the globe, from Sugar Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Leonard also, by the way, great, what a great fighter. Muhammad Ali, who was a friend of mine. I put a picture of myself and Muhammad. It was another piece of work. You talk about a piece of work. But he could fight, couldn't he, huh? Mike Tyson, boy, I tell you, Mike has been loyal to me. Whenever they come out, they say, Trump's a racist. You know, it's like a statement. Trump's a racist. Mike Tyson goes, he's not a racist. He's my friend. He's been there from the beginning, good times and bad. But Mike Tyson's a great guy, and he was so loyal, always been loyal. And Herschel Walker, speaking about loyal, how good a football player was Herschel? Herschel Walker, now he's ambassador to the Bahamas. I don't know, Bahamas, Bermuda. Is he Bahamas? Whatever. It's nice, a nice place. You'd like that, Bruce, wouldn't you? Bruce wants it. And a guy that became really, he liked Trump, Jim Brown. He was tough. He'd come in, he was very silent. He was silent but deadly. He'd come in and he'd look at people, and if he didn't like them, he'd just look at me and he'd go, no good. He wanted to rip their heart out. I would say there can't be a greater football player than Jim Brown. By the way, Lawrence Taylor, great friend. The great Lawrence Taylor, the greatest defensive player probably in the history of football. He's a great friend of mine. But I'm longer off the tee than him. You know why? Because they take the club back further. He takes the club back this far, and he hits it 200 yards. When you can do that, you're strong. He is a great guy, I'll tell you that. And all of this is a part of the legacy that we celebrate on July 4th, 2026, because Black History Month is really all about American history. And this is a big year. This is a big year for you. During my first term, I was honored to deliver unprecedented victories for Black Americans and all Americans, frankly. But Black Americans, I single-handedly secured record long-term funding for. I told you, the historically Black colleges and universities. I created nearly 9,000 opportunity zones with our great secretary. And also, I think we have to do, and as I said before, Tim Scott really, he came to me with that idea, and we put it into use, right, Scott? And I signed historic criminal justice reform into law. We got criminal justice reform. Just so you know, for 30 years, you, more than any other group of people, has been trying to get criminal justice reform, and they couldn't do it. And a group of people came to my office, and they asked me to do it. They couldn't get it. They needed 5 conservative votes in the Senate, and conservative was 5 conservative white votes in the Senate. And of the 5, all 5 of them were totally against, and I called them up, and they were great. They were great. And one of them was Senator John Kennedy.
John, who you talking about?
He was not in favor of it, and
John,
I spoke to him, and he was 100%. He's a great senator, a great guy, and you know that he was a tremendous help. So we got criminal justice reform done and approved, and nobody thought it could be done. And it's no wonder that in 2024 we won more African American votes than any Republican presidential candidate in history. And just over 1 year ago, we had a dead country. We were a dead country. Scott just said it. We were dead as a doornail. We had an idiot as a president. We had a man that was not a president. Number one, he didn't win the election. He was not a president. Yeah, right. He was a real beauty, wasn't he? He allowed 25 million people into our country. Many of them should not have been here. And we've done. Now we have, by the way, we went from the worst border in history to the best, by far, the best border in history. But I had the support of many people, Bruce. I had the support of many people in this room, and we've got right now the hottest country anywhere in the world. King of Saudi Arabia told me that. He said, you were a dead country a year and a half ago. Now you're the hottest country. We're the hottest country right now anywhere in the world. And you're a big part of it. And you're a big beneficiary. I tell you what, take a look at your 401ks. Has anybody got a 401k that's lower than it was? Better put your hand down. Lower than it was a year ago? They're double. I mean, they are through the roof. The stock market has hit 53 all-time record highs since the election. And earlier this month, the Dow Jones Industrial Average rose above 50,000 for the first time ever, right, Scott? First time ever. And also, you know, they don't talk about this. The S&P broke 7,000. So when I got elected, they said for the S&P to break 7,000 within 4 years would be a great achievement for the president, and for the Dow Jones to break 50,000 would be a great thing, but it's not possible. They were talking about in 4 years. Scott, they said in 4 years it would not be possible to break 50,000 or 7,000 under these two very important, call them a metrics. And you know what happened? We broke it before the end of my first year. So, right? So we did something. So they said we couldn't do it in 4 years. We did it in 1 year. More Americans are working today than at any time in American history. So we have more Americans right now working than at any time. And, you know, when I say this stuff, I get the fake news back there, a lot of it. Thank you. I agree. Sometimes we have to be very careful because they actually go, and it's not pretty, Leo. We have to get Leo and the DOJ involved. But think of that, Leo, think of that. More Americans are working today than any time in history. And since I took office, African-American employment has increased by 182,000, the highest ever. Jobs. 182,000. Nearly 500,000 black Americans have rejoined the labor force since we took office. 500,000 wages for workers have increased $1,000, $2,000, even $3,000, and even sometimes, in some cases, $5,000 a year. That's faster than inflation. So wages have gone up at a much faster clip than inflation. We took over the worst inflation in the history of our country. They say 48 years or 49 years. I said that, you know, I said inflation under Biden has went up more than at any time in the history of our country. They said, he's not right about that. It's 49 years. I said, all right, I'll accept that too. Actually, I think it sounds worse, Harmeet. I think for some reason, because when you say the worst ever, but when you say the worst in 49 years, I'll take that, right? The fake news got me on that one. I think I was right, by the way, but I'll accept 48 or 49 years. But for the first time in many years, 100% of all net job creation is going to American-born citizens. Think of that, 100%. And in the last administration, it was going mostly to illegal aliens that came in, many of them murderers and others. Last summer, we passed the largest working-class tax cuts in the history of our country. That includes no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. And you're going to see that. You know, it just kicked in on January 1st. You're going to see tremendous results, and they're already seeing it. And I think we're going to have GDPs. We're going to have numbers that nobody's ever seen before, Scott. Joining us this afternoon, and really somebody that is fantastic, Annetta Bradford. In 2019, Annetta and her husband opened an incredibly successful coffee shop in Arkansas named Hebrews 11:1. That's an interesting name. No one thinks that the no tax on tips matters. Well, it does matter, and it mattered a lot to Annetta. And she was able to grow her business just in a short period of time and hired more employees. And she's making a fortune. I'd like you to give some of the people in that room some of that money, Annetta. You should make it a lot. Annetta, come in. Arnetta, come. Where are you? Arnetta, come on up here, Arnetta. Come on up. Hi, darling. Please, let me move that down.
I can't do anything first but say to God be the glory. Amen. I have no business being here other than him having me here. And so, yeah, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to preach. I'm going to settle myself. Thank you so much for inviting me and having me here. It's such an honor to be here today. Hebrews 11:1. People ask me all the time, why did I even open the business? Why did I even call it Hebrews 11:1? Hebrews 11:1 is my very favorite scripture. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. That scripture has walked with me, it has grown me from a little girl on up. Not having no longer my mother here, no longer having my father here, my husband not having his mother and his father here. We opened Hebrews 11:1 with no funding, no money, no big family investors, no business loans, didn't have great credit. It was us and faith in God. That was 7 years ago. But I ran that business with just myself and one employee. Then here comes no tax on tips. I was able to hire 7 more employees just by what she did. Not only that, I was able to open a second location on our college campus. Things are just going off simply because having now faith. And so I love the fact of that scripture. Now, I say all of that as to, I'm trying to stick to my little written down thing that I wrote. I don't know how to do that so well. But as a small business owner, I understand how critical support is. I understand that you have to have the right people that make the right policies for us as small business owners. So no tax on tips has been an extreme blessing for me and my business. Not just mine, but I know so many people across the country. I know a lot of us don't want to talk about the good part of it. We only want to share the negative, but I'm here today to tell you you've done a great thing. Thank you for just loving on us and showing us that even in small town Hope, Arkansas, and I have got to say this, I have the best governor in the world. I don't only just call Sarah my friend, I call her my sister. And so that's why I am here today to just tell you that no tax on tips has been an amazing blessing for me. President Trump has been an amazing blessing for me. And at the end of the day, Jesus has been an amazing blessing for me. I love you guys and thank you so much because I am a youth pastor, but I will not preach on today. I love y'all. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Good job. Good job, huh? So thank you very much, Arnetta. And we can't provide opportunity for the next generation if we do not also have a thing called law and order. We need law and order. You know, Washington, D.C. is amazing. It was a crime capital. It was a horror show. A year ago, it was really dangerous, and now it's one of the safest cities anywhere in the country. And we're in Memphis, Tennessee now, where it's like a different world. In 4 months, we've made it safe. We're in Louisiana, as you know, or lots of other places, and we have the lowest crime numbers that we've had in many years. We have the lowest murder numbers in 125 years, since 1900. And that's despite the fact that a lot of people are here, but those people have been taken out. Lots of them have been taken out. That's why we stopped the invasion at the southern border. And just 1 year ago, and think of this, 1 year ago, we had the absolute worst border that we've ever had, and now we have the safest border that we've ever had. So it's going to be really something. 125 years ago, that's before my father was born. I had a wonderful father, but that was before. So we have, murders are down from 125 years. We had the best numbers. When you think about it, that's pretty incredible. And those numbers are made up by Democrats. Can you believe it? They don't want to give me those numbers. They can add a couple of people here and there. But I've also deployed the National Guard to bring back safety to Memphis and to New Orleans and Washington. And the National Guard has been incredible, and people are safe. In the case of Washington, the restaurants were all closing up. People were getting really badly hurt and killed, frankly, many people killed. And now you can walk down the street and you have nothing to fear. We have one of the safest cities in the world, and it happened very fast, Bruce. One of those who knows the importance of this mission is Felicia Cook, a lifelong Washingtonian who tragically lost her grandson to violence in 2017. Felicia, we're so sorry, and you are a spectacular person. If you could say a few words, please. Thank you very much. Yes, come on in. Oh, yeah. Oh, help her up. We don't want any mistakes. Come on in.
First of all, can
Thank
I
you.
have a hug?
Yes, you can. Thank you, God. Thank you. That's so nice. Thank you. I like her. Please.
I like him too. One thing I like about him, he keeps it real just like Grandma. I appreciate that because I can trust him because he tells exactly how he feels and what he thinks. Thank God for this president. I am filled, my cup runneth over. Because he allowed his constituents, his people to come to my house to interview me, to talk about the murder of my grandson. It seemed like nobody cared. I'm an advocate for murder. I marched, I rallied, I pulled out other families in the District of Columbia that had murders and did not have answers. Ooh. We marched and we rallied, and nobody heard me, Democrats. Get mad at me. until this Republican sent his constituents, his people out there to interview me in my home. Have you ever heard of a thing? Then they invited me twice before Congress to testify for the beautiful bill that's going to change crime in the district. If you kill somebody, okay, you take a life, you do life. Just that simple. If you do a harsh crime, you do harsh time. Just that simple. And then we need National Guard, and which we did years ago.
That's a fact, Critical 509. It's a fact.
I love him. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say about that racist stuff. And don't be looking at me on the news hating on me because I'm standing up for somebody that deserves to be standing up for. Get off the man's back. Let him do his job. He's doing the right thing. Back up off of him. And Grandma said it.
Wow.
Grandma said that.
That's pretty good. When is she running for office? Felicia, when are you running for office, please? You have my endorsement. You have my endorsement, Felicia. Thank you, darling. That's great. What a great, and it's from the heart. Your little baby, right?
That's a fact, so Critical 509.
Horribly taken from you. Under the
I
Trump
remember those
administration,
days.
we believe that no community should be abandoned to the scourge of violent crime, and we're saving thousands and thousands of lives in many cities. And frankly, if these radical left lunatic Democrats would come and say, please help us, please, we'd stop crimes all over the place. And we're doing it in a lot of cities. Sometimes we have to force ourselves upon them because they're so bad. And I don't even think they realize what's happening to their cities and their towns. But every town that we go in, every city that we go in, like Washington, Felicia, you feel much safer now, totally safe. You can walk to a restaurant. The restaurants were all closing. Now you can't get a restaurant. The bad news is you can't get into a restaurant. But it's a great thing to see what's happening in Washington. It's like it's a hot place, and hopefully people will be coming in record numbers. And it's been, well, I know we need a little help. You need help in Atlanta. He just said, you're right, Atlanta, we could take care of Atlanta. I'll tell you what, you ought to get them to call me. We could take care of Atlanta so fast. They don't want to call. They don't want to call because they don't want to admit it, and they'll never fix it themselves. Don't forget, we move people out. We don't just go in and, be tough guys. We move people out. We take career criminals and we get them out. We bring them back to the country from where they came. And think of it, 90% of the crime is caused by 2% of the people. Think of it. So when you get the criminals out, you solve a lot of problems. Another way that we're fulfilling our duty to the next generation is the single biggest thing that's happened having to do with schools and education. It's called school choice in our great, big, beautiful bill. Our beautiful bill, which really covers 4 years. We put it all together. That's why we call it the great, big, beautiful bill. This will help millions of African-American children and ensure that no child is condemned to a failing government or a horrible school. And we have a person here who's fantastic on this subject. Greta, would you please come up? Please, Greta, come on up. Thank you. And her beautiful daughter. Thanks, Greta. Thank you very much.
God bless you. Happy to meet you. Well, I ditto, to God be the glory. And we're grateful for our president. He's doing some tremendous work. And I want to remind those that don't know that this was prophesied. So you weren't supposed to have the second term when it came about. This is your season. And God said that it was going to be rough the first 2 years and that things were going to happen. But then the last 2 years are going to be great.
Well, I hope
and
so.
yes, you're going to do some tremendous things. And so for that, we thank you. On behalf of all the mothers all around the world, I'm from Texas. I live in a zip code that I didn't have an opportunity to have a choice to go to school. And so when I raised my children, I wanted a better opportunity for them. And I'm so grateful to ACE scholarships and all the doors that the president is opening for education. My son was in a school that he didn't have any voice, and he found drugs in school, and he died. And so I'm here today to just show my appreciation for all the moms around the world. We have a choice now. This choice is so important to mothers. I have a child that, because I had a choice, she's in private school, she's thriving. She's thriving. She's going to be an anesthesiology nurse, and she's doing great. And ACE scholarships was a big part of that. Changing education changes everything.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Changing education changes everything. In my zip code, it feels like we were locked in a cage, and being locked in a cage and can't get out. And because of all of the things that you're doing for education, now we can get out and soar. Our children can have a chance to be prosperous just like other children. And I thank you for that. This is a great opportunity. So on behalf of all the mothers all around the world, I stand here and I give you your flowers while you can still get them. Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. Give me a hand. And this is here.
Look how beautiful. What a beautiful. Thank you. Wow, so nice. Thank you very much. Thanks, Greta. So we're calling it end, and I just want to say this is an honor to be here. We celebrate Black History Month. We honor the memory of those who came before us by continuing their legacy and fighting for an American that's really an America that's safe and strong and prosperous. We now have a country that's bigger, better, greater than ever before. I want to thank all my secretaries and all of the people that came here. Our military leaders are here. We have a lot of people that are here, and I want to thank you all. But this is a very special group of people. So happy Black History Month, happy Black History Year, and happy Black History Century. Thank you all. Thank you, Bruce. Thank you.
Yeah, chat, there go the end of this segment. I appreciate y'all for joining me. We got 81 people in the building. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we're going to move on. Now I'm going to go to a little segment as we move to the celebrating Jesse Jackson Black History Month. And we're going to go to this segment. It's an older video, but it's Jesse Jackson and Donald Trump, who were really good friends, breaking down economics and how Donald Trump actually helped Jesse Jackson and put Jesse Jackson's Rainbow Coalition, gave him a building on Wall Street. You know, so we're going to watch this little clip, and then we're going to go to another clip where the great Jesse Jackson is actually talking about economics. Here we go, chat. Appreciate y'all for joining me. I'm your host, the one and only Stock Sniper, and this is the Freedom of Speech channel.
Pizzazz, he is a serious person who is an effective builder of building with a builder of people. Last year, he was a part of our workshop, of our panel workshop on what are the challenges and opportunities. And so this, a year later, Donald Trump, for a few minutes, challenges and opportunities to embrace the underserved communities. Donald Trump.
Well, it is an honor to be here, and I was with Jesse last year, and we had a lot of fun, and it was a little different. We had a real panel where you asked questions and everything, and we didn't do so much speaking, so I'm going to get off here very quickly because I want to hear some questions. Jesse started off by saying most of the wealth in this country is in the hands of a few, and I thought to myself, is that a bad thing? What's wrong with that, Jesse? But he did have an expression last year, and I was just telling Roger, he had an expression last year, the wall on wall must fall. And you haven't used it today, and I'm very disappointed in this, Jesse, because I thought it was a great expression. And I heard the expression about 14 times, and then he came to me at the end of the session, and he said, listen, I want some office space in your building on Wall Street, because the wall on Wall will fall. And I said, it's okay, Jesse, I'll make a good deal with you. I'll get you some space. You'll pay about $40 a foot. And he said, no, I don't want to pay 40. I said, how about...
Basically, what Jesse Jackson was telling him, he was slick talking. Basically, because, you know, back in the day, black people wasn't really educated and wasn't really had the resources to start investing into the stock market. So when he say the wall must go, he was meaning that black people need to have an opportunity to get some of this wealth. We need to start. We need to have the opportunity to. Yeah, we're talking about that word again. We got to have the opportunity to start building wealth for us and our families, just like y'all. And basically, Donald Trump gave him that opportunity by what, Stock Sniper? By giving him the building on Wall Street. And with that gave Jesse Jackson the opportunity to learn all about investing in these companies that we know, like, and trust, and bring it back to where? To the black community, and spread it to all of us. Spread it to not me, but spread it to my grandfather, my great-grandfather, my grandmother, my great-grandmother. So let's carry on, chat. I hope y'all connecting the dots with this.
30. No. It was the cheapest deal I ever made in the history of 40 Wall Street. Is that right? He got it for nothing. He's a very tough negotiator. We know that, right? Nah, he's a terrific guy. We love him, and I'm here for him. And the snow came, and I said, gee, nobody's going to show up, and look at this place, it's packed. I do want to say a couple of things. First of all, where's Percy? Oh, okay. I thought you left, Percy. That would have been terrible. I get up and you leave. I would have been insulted. But, you know, he's been a special friend of mine for 25 years, for a long time. And Percy was the borough president of Manhattan when I was really starting out, and he helped me so much on the Commodore Hotel, which he mentioned before, which became the Grand Hyatt, and so many other things. And he is really, and I listened to him speak, and I said to Roger and Roy, listen to those tones, listen to that voice. Have you heard that before, by the way? What a beautiful tone, and what a beautiful man, and we love him. You really were a big help to me right at the beginning, and I really appreciate it, and you've done some great job. So I just want to sort of acknowledge that. Now, another couple, I'm sitting here with this man, Roy. If you want to borrow money, but with him you have to pay it back. That's the thing. But if you want to borrow money on Wall Street, you go see Roy, because there's nobody like him at Goldman Sachs. And if you do want to run for president, you see this guy. You're 3-0. And when he left Bush, you know what happened to Bush's last campaign, folks? It wasn't very pretty. And now we have President Clinton, who's coming tonight. And I guess you like President Clinton very much, right, Jesse? Huh? Stand up and...
Now, if you didn't know, I hope you, all the people in the back, I hope you understand what the position that Donald Trump is in. Donald Trump used to be a Democrat. Donald Trump used to support Bill Clinton. You just heard him say that. Let me rewind it. Let me rewind it for all the people in the back. See, this is the education channel.
Very pretty. And now we have President Clinton, who's coming tonight. And I guess you like President Clinton very much, right, Jesse?
Look.
Bush. You know what happened to Bush's last campaign, folks? It wasn't very pretty.
Now, Bush, he's not talking about the son. He's talking about the dad. He's talking about Bush Sr., which was a who? Was a Republican. Pay attention.
And now we have President Clinton, who's coming tonight. And I guess you like President Clinton very much, right, Jesse? Huh? Stand up and say it, Jesse. Well, I'll just say a few words. I mean, Wall Street and New York City and this whole region is doing unbelievably well. I'm building a job on the West Side, which is the largest job ever approved by the New York City Planning Commission. You see it going up along the West Side Highway. It's almost 10 million square feet. It's 18 buildings, and it's really going to be something. We're building a building that you probably heard of recently, It's the tallest residential tower anywhere in the world. It's 90 stories. People aren't happy about the fact that I'm building a 90-story building in New York City, but it's an as-of-right. It's called an as-of-right building, meaning you can do it by zoning, and it's going to be truly magnificent, right directly across from the United Nations. We just bought the General Motors building. We just completed Trump International Hotel and Tower, which just yesterday got the Mobile 5-star award. Only 4 in the country got it for its whatever it is, and it's been a tremendous success. We're doing a lot of other things, and I will tell you, a large percentage of the people, and especially in construction, that are building these great jobs are black and minorities, and I'm very proud of it. We have close to 25%, and I think the number's going up, and they do a great job. There are no better builders than we have in New York, and a big percentage of that is black and minority folks. So I just want to thank everybody in the room for being here. I look forward to some questions. And then I don't know how we're ever going to leave this building today, because if you look outside, it is terrible. But we'll figure a way. There's always a way. And thank you, Jesse, and congratulations.
And with all of that wealth, Trump wants a free ticket to the fair tonight. Freebie. The question remains, over and over again.
Dang.
And poverty. And that's why we're at the Treasury, and that's why the Freedmen's Bank across the street from the Treasury is where
now this right here,
Frederick
Chad,
Douglass
is the last tribute
left us
to Jesse Jackson
when Lincoln was
talking
killed.
about
And John
economic
knows that story better than I do. But
and financial
this
literacy,
is what we did when
and
we
how
went
we
to
have
Chicago.
to work with one another.
The
In other
Operation
words, you got to
Breadbasket
get rid of your feelings.
Run by Jesse.
Yeah,
and we got to work
but
with
it
one another.
Also, I mean, you had Joe Louis milk that couldn't get on the shelf in the grocery stores in the black community. Johnson Products, hair care, couldn't get into the supermarkets and the drugstores. And that's what Operation Breadbasket was. It was about economic inclusion and generating business and wealth in the black community. The rent strikes, people who were living and paying rent and getting no heat. And Dr. King moved us into, was it Lawndale, 16th and Hamlin. And there were children in the bed wrapped in newspaper in 14 degrees below zero. And we just took all our money and put it together and bought coal and set the fires burning to warm up those slums. But then we sued them and took possession of the slums, turned it into condominiums where their notes were less than their rent has been. And so all of that happened in 1966. And we left Jesse in charge of it. And long before he was thinking about president, he was thinking about neighborhoods, and he was thinking about people in grocery stores, and he was thinking about minority-owned and female-owned business. So Operation Push, people united to save humanity, right? Serve humanity. No, save humanity.
Reverend Jackson, on that point, a lot of folks, they have heard of Breadbasket, and then they'll say, oh man, I get the boycott thing, but the kind of pressure you were applying to companies really created a number of black millionaires who were shut out of those stores after the Fair Housing Act, Civil Rights Act, Voting Rights Act. Talk about how critical that was to developing a black economic base in Chicago and across the country.
It seems that, first of all, thank you very much. It seems one thing we have to deal with is some policy behavior and some private behavior. That is to say that if you spend more than you have and vote less than you have, that's the formula for suicide. If you spend more than you have and vote less than you have, that's a form. You must spend less than you make and vote all you can. You got to reverse our psychology. That's one piece of it. The second piece of it is
y'all can clap on that. Go ahead.
The second piece of it, it seems to me, is that we got to look at today, 50 years after Dr. King's assassination, 54% of all the African Americans make less than $15 an hour. Half of them make less than $12 an hour, and half of them less than $9 an hour. That's working poor people. And then the other group is in what they call credit card debt. Yeah. How does one leverage that money in ways that you begin to get returns on your investment? And it seems to me, just as we have focused on leveraging our votes to get elected officials, we also can leverage our economy to get the private sector, and that's where the wealth is. Yeah. Roland, we went to, as you know, went to Silicon Valley, and you worked with us on this project. We went to Hewlett-Packard, and they said to us, we cannot share information about EEO1 because it puts us at a competitive disadvantage. So we bought stock in 25 companies. Yep. Give us the right to go to shareholders' meetings, and from that, we raised the point of shareholders. They now have 4 blacks on the boards because the 100 largest cities are majority black and brown. We have economic leverage as we have political leverage.
Now, before you did that, Facebook had no African Americans on their board. Ken Chenault is now on their board of directors. Twitter had no black folks. Deborah Lee is now on their board. And that was because of that level of pressure.
Jim Bell's on the board of Apple.
Yeah, Apple. Jim Bell at Apple.
John Thompson's on the board now as chairman of the board of Microsoft because we use our economic leverage. And so just as we have votes to fight with, we have dollars. In Chicago, in effect, what we did was you had this huge market of people who we couldn't even pick up the garbage. We don't pick up the garbage in a single city in America. Sludge is fudge if you're on the truck.
Hold up. And when you say don't pick up the garbage, we worked for the city, you mean who owned the contract?
Yeah, I mean, if you got say an X chain store and they have 6 barrels of waste a day, you pick it up, you can leverage that to get your truck and leverage that to bury it. And so that the ability to pick up our own waste is a multi-billion-dollar industry, for example. We could not get Johnson products on the shelves. We couldn't get Johnson Publishing Company on the shelves. And we said, we want to cut, if you will, a mutually beneficial. You don't do business with us, don't do business with you. We began to leverage that and begin to open. But we went a step further because we couldn't stop at ghettonomics. We have more than our side of town. We demanded that the state treasury begin to put money in black banks. We began to focus on pension funds. That's our money too.
Is that the Wall Street project?
But the point is on Wall Street that I would make the case that we have 4 stages to our struggle. I would make fundamentally the 246 years of legal slavery. We had no rights, and when we got free, we never got equal. And for a moment we got equal, the gesture with the Freedmen's Bank, but they withdrew from that. Yep. The second stage was Jim Crow. 5,000 blacks were lynched between 1880 and 1950. Then the right to vote. Now, beyond slavery and segregation and voting is access to capital, industry, technology, and that's what we're now at the 4th stage of our struggle. Access, that's why they have the CRA guy sitting here. Access to capital, industry, technology, and deal is the time of our season.
John, when you were on my TV One show, News One Now, and first of all, let me thank all the folks. Y'all keep telling me how much you miss it. I certainly appreciate that. We had a great 4 years. Brother was blaming me. I said, look, I didn't decide to end the show. Calm down. But again, thank you for folks who watched it. It was great. But trust me, I'm working on something else. I'll let you know soon. John, when you were on the show, it was very interesting. You were on with your book. And I had some other folks who were on the panel. Yeah. And that was this fierce fight. And you would try not to engage, but you had to engage. And they were making the argument that you should not be focused on money. You should be focused on police brutality, criminal justice reform, mass incarceration. And you kept saying, if we don't deal with the money, you can't deal with that.
Or Or said another way, as Shimon Peres told me when I was in Jordan before, a few years before his death, he told me, John, people are going to criticize you when you embark on this mission. He said, you tell them when they tell you that, you tell them this. Even if you want to distribute money like a socialist, you've got to first collect money like a capitalist. And capitalism is like democracy. It's a horrible system except for every other system. So if we're subject to it anyway, when you're being run out of town, get in front of the crowd and make like a parade. We've got to turn on so-called negatives into so-called positives. And I'm not going out. I'm just sick and tired of being sick and tired. And we're not dumb and we're not stupid. It's what we don't know that we don't know that's killing us. And this is a quote I borrowed from Reverend Jackson. When the playing field is level, you tell me if I get this right now, when the playing field is level and the rules are published, we succeed.
The reason we do so well in athletics, we're so dumb. Repeat that, whenever the playing field is even, and the rules are public, the goals are clear, the referee is fair, and the score is transparent, we can make it.
We can make it.
But if on the football field, if we had to run 13 yards for a first down because we came from a broken home, the white people inherited and had to run 7 yards for, we couldn't make them folks. The reason why we make it so well because it's clearly with 10 yards for all first downs, 3 points for all field goals, and you can see it when it goes to the uprights. And where life is visible, or where we have people behind closed doors who take light in dark places, we can make it. Nothing wrong with us, something wrong with the system.
The both of you were at Mason Temple the night of April 3rd, 1968, when Dr. King gave his mountaintop speech. Now, it drives me crazy that most people have only heard the last 2.5 minutes of that speech, but it was a 43-minute speech. And a significant part of that, he talked about economics. Yeah. He referenced you, Reverend Jackson, saying it's time to redistribute the pain. To your point, Ambassador Young, that speech, he said, we put money in a black bank. He talked about what SCLC did in Memphis. He talked about boycotting the companies that don't do business with us. That was an economic speech, and it was a blueprint that he sort of gave. And it's interesting to me that so many people don't want to focus on that. What he was saying is we have to put pressure on folks that if you take our money as consumers, you need to employ us and do business with us and our own companies. How do we drive that messaging home today when folks say, we shouldn't do that stuff, that's old stuff, we way past that, Ambassador Young?
Yeah, but let me just say something that you mentioned that I didn't know. We're not asking for anything when we make somebody put Ken Chenault on the board. You know, I mean, Ken Chenault knows more about business than anybody. I mean, Facebook is all young folk. You know, and putting him on the board there is a blessing. That's sending a wise man who knows the global economy to a bunch of kids who know computers. Now, the same thing is true with poverty, that the market growth is always at the bottom. There was a book came out of Michigan. The fortune is at the bottom of the pyramid. Yeah. And we've been saying for some time that if you want to put money in Sears Roebuck, that was fine when I was growing up. But Sears went to Chicago and forgot the poor. And Sam Walton moved in, and Walmart now is the largest company, was the largest company in the city for a long time. Mm-hmm. And a Walmart stock was doing better than a Neiman Marcus stock. Mm-hmm. And so there's so many more poor people that if you bring poor people or poor nations into an economy, It's the best way to grow an economy.
Rule, I want to say again, here, if you spend more than you have, you become a debt slave. And you vote less than you have, you're foolish. If you in fact spend less than you have and can save and leverage and vote all you can coalesce. We got to reshift that. The idea in Memphis was that if Mayor Loeb was not going to recognize the sanitation workers, we're going to use our economic leverage to put pressure on corporations to make them either you respect these workers or we undermine your economy by not participating in the economy. And we said, let's redistribute the pain. I am rather convinced that what we're doing right now in Atlanta, we're putting together the top 50 public corporations. We're judging them by their board of directors, the C-suites, EEO-1 reports, procurement agenda, legal rights, financial services. We have more leverage on the corporation than we have on the government.
Now let's give an example there, because you and I talked about this here when you talk about the financial leverage piece. When I had you on the show every week with the Silicon Valley deal, you kept making the point that, to your point, folks like, yeah, one board member. You said no. I think it was Verizon, one of the companies. You said they were doing a $50 billion bond offering.
$62 billion.
But had no black law firms, no black financial investment advisors.
Advertising agencies, marketing.
So when you talk about Silicon Valley, you weren't focused on the engineers. 60% of all Silicon Valley jobs are not even in STEM.
Interesting that they were trying to get black engineers. They were going to USC and UCLA. There are no black engineers coming out because
not Prairie View or Xavier.
Well, they're not coming in. They're not coming out. They're not getting. They recruit ball players. The most black engineers come out of black colleges. Number 1, A&T. Number 2, Morgan State. Number 3, Howard. Number 4, Morehouse and Spelman. Florida A&M and Prairie View. And so the HBCUs, the pipeline from Silicon Valley HBCUs is a whole dimension of our work. And we must not be getting degrees in obsolescence. Get degrees in what matters.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
I think John got a new quote.
To have a PhD in what doesn't matter is a waste of time.
44% of all African Americans in this country have a credit score below 620. So to your point about what's on the program, talking about focusing on what matters, is police brutality reality? Of course it is. Is racism real? Of course it is. Is bias real? Of course it is. And all these things need pressure. All these things need attention.
But John, hold on. Can you explain that though? Because here's when you say 620.
I'm about to.
The difference between a 620 and 750 or 580 is what? 4.5%, 18%?
Oh no, it's worse than that. Literally, I don't care how many times you go to church. I don't care how nice you are, how sweet you are, how brilliant you are, how gracious you are. At 620 credit score, nobody will tell you this, you cannot get a small business loan. Cannot. Doesn't matter what else you do. Doesn't matter how great your business plan is. They will not. The banks will not give you I don't care white, black, orange, I don't care what color you are, they will not give you an unsecured small business loan at 620, which means that half of all black folks, effectively, PhDs, advanced degrees, and things that may or may not matter, cannot operationalize their dream and don't know why.
And in fact, we saw that March 14th, 2014, Wall Street Journal had a front page article. I was going to a Radio 1 event in Raleigh, and 23.09 billion in small business loans were given in 2013. African Americans got 385 million.
Yeah.
And I immediately called the White House and said, I need somebody from the SBA on Tom Joyner the next day.
Yep.
They messed around, and it took them literally 90 days to get somebody on. And I told the Obama administration, I might be talking about entertainment, and I'm gonna bring that money up. I will kick y'all behind every day until you come on to explain how you're going to confront this, because in the last year of President Bush, 2008, we got 8.2% of all loans. 13, 1.7% because it was a housing crisis. So to your point, that 620, we went from 8.2% of all SBA loans in 2008 to 1.7% in 2013.
And if you have a credit score of 580, I'm sorry, yeah, 580.
Let me break it.
Go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
What was the interest you paid on the first car you bought?
Well, that's what I'm about to say. My interest rate, when I had a 580 credit score, my interest rate was 18%.
And what was your interest rate on your last car?
1.99. So you're driving, at 18%, you're driving around in a financial bomb. It's going to explode. And if you're driving a Mercedes, it's Mercedes payments. So there may be two Mercedes on the highway. One's at 1.99 interest rate. One's at 18% interest rate. One of them is literally driving you into the poorhouse.
And so for the people who are watching who might say, but John, I don't want to open a business, what we're saying is that at 580 or 600, you are paying so much more to live. And to your point, you are going to always be in debt. So you're paying more for everything.
But wait a minute. Half of all, Reverend Jackson will tell you this, I learned this from him. Half of all employers check your credit. Did you know that? Before they'll hire you.
And it's also state law in many of these places. Because in 1991, when I graduated from Texas A&M, Alabama had a state law that they allowed you to factor your credit score as to whether or not you hired somebody. In the Birmingham News, all 16 editors said we want to hire him, but the HR department said no because of my college credit score. And I never let the Birmingham News forget that. But this was as far as back as 1991, and we have some folks in the military who can't get a security clearance because of their credit score.
That's right.
Dr. King put a combination of public sector and private. For example, we all now embrace Social Security. It literally lifted every American out of poverty.
Yeah.
For example, President Obama passed the Affordable Health Care Act. What they did was, that was a major lifter. They put a black hand on it and called it Obamacare. There's no such bill as Obamacare. There's no such, and you had people who were fighting against Obamacare who wanted affordable health. They wanted the omelet, didn't want the eggs. Say amen. That. My point is the government has a role to play, because why did we have the crisis? When they took the governors off of banks targeted, stealing clustered black and brown homes, and took our homes and rented us with subprime lending schemes. So we need a combination of access to credit and protection. We need access and credit.
So Ambassador Young, here we are. Trump is sitting in the White House, and I've had conversations with people, black folks, who said, I don't want nothing to do with that man, nothing with what they're doing. And I make the argument, I understand how you feel, but we can't just walk away for 4 years and not force them to. So how do we break through that to the folks who say, I don't want nothing to do with him, and nobody black should even meet with him?
No, the last man to sit here was the Vice President of the Federal Reserve. And John, he's here, and I guess he's appointed by this administration.
Yeah.
But he's here talking with us about money. Now, I don't have any problem talking with anybody anywhere about money.
Okay,
and
y'all hear that?
Because
Wait.
That's where we are.
For the people in the back, are you listening to this conversation? Especially when they switched it and brought up Trump. Now, these days, see these Jesse Jackson and Andrew Young, they old school, right? They old school. Well, we already know what the guy on the far right, what he does. He's a Trump basher. But what they're trying to tell him is that, hey, when it comes to growth and development, when it comes to building and trying to, provide for our families and trying to build, even though we don't have to like you if you do good business. And guess what? We can come and bring a return home and provide and bring economics, not only to our families, but to our friends and our community. Let me rewind this a little bit. That's exactly what they're saying. It's not, don't get out of your feelings.
How do we break through that to the folks who say, I want
to say amen. That. My point is the government has a role to play, because why did we have the crisis? When they took the governors off of banks targeted, stayed clustered black and brown homes, and took our homes and rents with subprime lending schemes. So we need a combination of access to credit and protection. We need access and credit.
So Ambassador Young, here we are. Trump is sitting in the White House, and I've had conversations with people, black folks, who said, I don't want nothing to do with that man, nothing with what they're doing. And I make the argument, I understand how you feel, but we can't just walk away for 4 years and not force them to. So how do we break through that to the folks who say, I don't want nothing to do with him, and nobody black should even meet with him?
No, the last man to sit here was the Vice President of the Federal Reserve. And John, he's here, and I guess he's appointed by this administration.
Yeah.
But he's here talking with us about money. Now, I don't have any problem talking with anybody anywhere about money. Okay?
Yeah.
Because that's where we are.
And that's what the Democratic Party got to get back to. That's the whole point of this live. That's what the Democratic Party got to get back to. Get out of y'all feelings. That's what they got to get back to. If I don't have to like you, long as you do good business. I don't have to like you, long as me, my family, and my community can benefit, and I can get something out of the deal. I don't have to like you. That's the whole point. And that's what's wrong with us these days. Too many of us are in our feelings. It's people that won't make the proper investments. It's people that won't talk about the Trump policies. It's too many people are worried about him as an individual, worried about him as a person, and they're missing what's happening. What are they missing, Stock Sniper? They're missing the wealth transfer. I don't have a problem with sitting down if it's about wealth and money and growth and development. I don't have to like you as a person. I just have to like the business and what you're presenting to not only me, but to my family and to my community. All I have to like is the policies. That's all I gotta like. Long as the policies and the laws and what you putting down could benefit me, my family, and my kids and my grandkids, and my friends and my community. That's all that matters. Let's keep going.
Race was about black and white. But now both black and white need some green.
There you go.
And it's the reason I would not criticize the white racists who were in Charlottesville. I said, these are just poor folk who don't know no better. They want to blame us.
In other words, there is no white versus black. It's only rich or poor. That's all it is. It's rich, poor, good versus evil. Ain't no racism. We got the same opportunity as everybody else. And that's what we got to realize. We got to get out of our feelings. And the Democratic Party got to get back to what Jesse Jackson and the great Andrew Young, the ambassador, is talking about right now. They worried about bullshit and bubble gum that I talk about all the time on this channel. Rest in peace to the great Reverend Jesse Jackson, who basically on this sit down just gave us a whole financial literacy class right there. See, this right here is what I talk about all the time on this channel. It's about like-minded people having conversations. And this is what we need to be talking about at our kitchen table with our brothers, sisters, homeboys, friends. What they're talking about right now. Growth and development, economics. How can we build? How can we get a seat at the table, even though I don't like you personally? How can I get a seat at that table? That's exactly what they're talking about right now. And that's exactly what the old school is trying to tell the new school right now. Let's keep going.
For them being poor and not look at their senator that gave them jobs, coal mining jobs, that are going to give them black lung disease, and then wouldn't give them health insurance. That's not being smart. And being white doesn't help you if you're in a coal mine.
But there.
Actually, walk out black.
But
inside.
But the ignorance must at least be illegal.
What's that? Repeat that.
The ignorance must be illegal. Ignorance does not give them the right to violate people's basic rights.
No.
Because in a real sense, why are whites so abundant when we got freed in 1865, 246 years after slavery, we were behind 246 in everything. Slavery was legal. Jim Crow was legal. Denying us access to banks was legal. Denying us access to get a bank licenses was legal. And it was taken back from us arbitrarily. That's why a combination of voting and the economy, that's why both are both are very important.
So, Reverend Jackson, you would agree, as the question, that civil rights or social justice and economic empowerment or the financial aspects of this movement have always been intertwined.
Right.
Yeah, for example, there are
Yes, it
19,000
has.
automobile dealerships. We had 900, now we have 340.
Wow.
And we bailed out the auto industry without bailing out blacks who had been locked out. And that was a bad thing. We were race insensitive and should have been race sensitive, race conscious of the fact we had just got in 1966 in Chicago with Al Johnson. And the same is true with the automotive industry, all the suppliers. There's nothing we cannot do in that industry, but without protection of law, we can't get it. And that's so fundamentally true. And that's why we must support affordable health care and affordable. These kids who are now marching, and thanks be to God they are marching, but if you march and unregistered, you're kids. If you march and vote, you distinguish constituents. They must use their leverage to vote. Also use their leverage to spend and to invest.
John,
we must be shareholders, not just sharecroppers. I'll go to a given GM board meeting, and there'll be 200 people deciding multi-billion-dollar decision. Be 300 people there, and 3 blacks. The 2 who are watching me and me.
Oh, God, bro.
I mean, I'll go to the Coca-Cola board meeting here in Atlanta. There'll be 300 people at the Coca-Cola shareholders meeting. Coke is the #1 purchaser of sugar in all of Africa. The #1 employer in all of Africa is Coca-Cola. From South Africa to Egypt is Coca-Cola. And yet, given that they buy more oranges, the #1 purchase of oranges in all of Latin America is Coca-Cola. Making those competitions right in Atlanta, 300 members at the shareholders meeting, and less than 5 African American. The new battlefield is not at the Board of Education meeting protesting with the picket sign. It's at the shareholders meeting is a new platform.
Ambassador,
ask George Soros.
Did y'all catch that? Let me rewind that for the people in the back.
Coke is the #1 purchaser of sugar in all of Africa. The #1 employer in all of Africa is Coca-Cola. From South Africa to Egypt is Coca-Cola. And yet, given that they buy more oranges, the #1 purchase of oranges in all of Latin America is Coca-Cola. Making those competitions right in Atlanta, 300 members at the shareholders meeting, and less than 5 African American. The new battlefield is not at the Board of Education meeting protesting with the picket sign. It's at the shareholders meeting is a new platform.
Ambassador,
ask George Soros, that white fellow sitting right there. George Soros.
Ambassador Young. Actually, that's George Frazier. But yeah, I see you, George. Ambassador Young, when Maynard Jackson was elected 0.0012% of all contracts in this city went to African Americans. So that's 12 cents out of every $100.
Well, I think I didn't go far enough.
He used the
Watching me and me. But if you march unregistered, you're kids. If you march and vote, you distinguished constituents. They must use their leverage to vote. Also use their leverage to spend and to invest.
John,
we must be shareholders, not just sharecroppers. I'll go to a given GM board meeting, and there'll be 200 people deciding multi-billion-dollar decision. Be 300 people there, and 3 blacks. The 2 who watching me and me. I mean, I'll go to the Coca-Cola board meeting here in Atlanta. There'll be 300 people at the Coca-Cola shareholders meeting. Coke is the #1 purchaser of
out of 200 people,
of sugar
there's
in
only
all of Africa.
basically 2 people at the shareholders
In
meeting.
all of Africa is Coca-Cola. From South Africa to Egypt is Coca-Cola. And yet,
At the shareholders meeting for these companies, when you're an investor,
oranges in all of Latin America.
when you invest,
making those competition.
When you are an investor, you could go to these shareholders meeting. Well, back in the day, when he talking about, you had to go there in person. Now you could you can do it online. So he's saying that it's 200 people at the shareholders meeting. It's 3 people there. Really 2, because he's there to speak. Right. So he got to be there. So he says 3 people there, 2 of them are watching me speak. So out of 200 people, it's only 2 blacks at the shareholders meeting. So in other words, everybody always talking about the system is broken. It's not the system that's broken. It's us that's broken. Once you know how to work the system, once you know the system, once you put the work in, you know what I'm saying? Once you understand what he's talking about right now, and once you understand it, you put the work in, then you realize all this time they're telling us the system is broken, and the system ain't broken. It's us that's broken.
Right in Atlanta, 300 members at the shareholders meeting, and less than 5 African American. The new battlefield is not at the Board of Education meeting protesting with the picket sign. It's at the shareholders meeting is a new platform.
Ambassador,
ask George.
The new, that's what he said. The new, let me rewind it again for the people in the back.
Africa is Coca-Cola. From South Africa to Egypt is Coca-Cola. And yet, given that they buy more oranges, the #1 purchase of oranges in all of Latin America is Coca-Cola. Making those competitions right in Atlanta, 300 members at the shareholders meeting, and less than 5 African American. The new battlefield is not at the Board of Education meeting protesting with the picket sign. It's at the shareholders meeting is a new platform.
The new battlefield. The battlefield is not no justice, no peace, no racist police. That's not the battlefield. The battlefield is at the shareholders' stock meetings as a shareholder, that you can build wealth, not only for you and your family, but your community. That's the battlefield. It ain't protesting. It ain't no justice, no peace, no racist police. We got to start understanding that.
So ask George Soros.
Ask George Soros, who's at the building, who's there. This is an old bit, and George Soros is in the audience, getting game from the great late Jesse Jackson.
I mean, I'll go to the Coca-Cola board meeting here in Atlanta. There'll be 300 people at the Coca-Cola shareholders meeting. Coke is the #1 purchaser of.
And look at the guy on the left.
The #1.
A lot of y'all probably don't know who that guy is on the left. That's watching. He's watching Jesse Jackson and listening and taking everything that he's saying in. That's John Brian Hope. This is an old video, guys. John Brian Hope, look him up to this day. Right now, is a billionaire. Look how he is a Jesse Jackson's mentee. Jesse Jackson is his mentor. John Brian Hope. Look how he's looking. He's soaking up all the game Jesse Jackson is giving him right now. And today, as of 2026, that John Brian Hope, that man right there on the left, is a billionaire.
In all of Africa is Coca-Cola. From South Africa to Egypt is Coca-Cola. And yet, given they buy more oranges, the number one purchase of oranges in all of Latin America is Coca-Cola. Making those decisions right in Atlanta, 300 members at Shell's meeting, and less than 5 African American. The new battlefield is not at the Board of Education meeting protesting with the picket sign. It's at the Shell's meeting is a new platform.
Ambassador,
ask George Soros, the white fellow sitting right there. George Soros.
Ambassador Young. Actually, that's George Frazier. But yeah, I see you, George. Ambassador Young, when Maynard Jackson was elected, 0.0012% of all contracts in this city went to African Americans. So that's 12 cents out of every $100. He used the power of the mayoral office to say to banks, I have folks who got city contracts, extend lines of credit to them. I have folks today who say, oh, you can't do it today. I'm trying to understand why not.
Guys, these are the type of conversations. If you like Stock Sniper, you always talk about sitting at the table. What can we discuss? This is the blueprint. If you don't know how to start a conversation with your friends and family at the dinner table, forget about playing dominoes. Forget about gossiping of what's going on YouTube or Instagram. Forget about playing spades. Forget about talking about the UFC. And have these type of conversations. These the conversations we need to be having all over America. Plot, plan, strategizing off ideas and experiences of what we going through. Older guys with younger guys. See, Jesse Jackson and Andrew Young, these guys, 80-year-old, that got all the knowledge and the wisdom and understanding, that they put all the work in. Those two guys right there were hand in hand with Dr. King. Both of these guys, when they assassinated Dr. King, these two guys were there. They got all the wisdom, they know everything. And John Bryant, and I can't remember his name on the right, but those two guys right there are the younger guys. That right there is older guys teaching younger guys. That's one thing that we are missing right now. These days, the younger guys don't want to listen to the older guys, right? The younger guys these days say that the older way of doing things, what Jesse Jackson, with the great Jesse Jackson and the great Ambassador Andrew Young is talking about right now, oh, that's outdated. But what we got to understand, that history is knowledge. Applied knowledge is when you get to growth and development. That's what we got to understand. And we have conversations and sit downs with our friends, relatives. We got to get back to this. Most families these days, especially in a certain community, all they want to do is talk about mess and gossip and drama. But this is what it's about, chat.
Cities are still putting millions of dollars in banks. Why can't a mayor or governor say, these are people who've got city or state contracts, you should extend city, lines of credit to them, and if you don't, we'll put our money in a bank that does?
Well, the city of Atlanta did that. And some of the company that was doing the food service at a number of black colleges was not able to get a loan. So we had to do it legally. We put out a request for proposal. Who will offer opportunities for minority business to get lines of credit like other business? And only one bank showed up. And so we took all the city money and put it in that bank. And then all of a sudden, when they realized it, what was going on, then everybody else came to attention and we told them why. And then they started doing a little better.
But it's interesting when I bring it up to mayors today, they look at me like I'm crazy. They go, well, I don't know if I can do that. And I'm going,
no.
Why not?
Well, you have to do it. And Maynard actually held up the airport for a whole year until there was an agreement that 25% of each and every contract, and not just the lawn mowing or the cement mixing, but we integrated Wall Street because we would not sell bonds in a company that did not have a black vice president capable of making deals with cities. And I think the whole, what is it, NASS, the National Association of Security Professionals, there must be how many of them now? I don't know. But they all started here because Atlanta would not do any business with anybody that did not have a minority investment banker in their portfolio.
Roland, if I might make this case, most of our businesses are post-1965.
Yeah.
Probably most of our businesses were funeral homes.
Today is 2.6 million black-owned businesses, 2.5 million only have one employee.
Because when we become mayors of cities, the procurement list, lawyers, advertising, marketing, jobs that are not even on the radar screen. When we got the right to vote, all of a sudden we started getting black auto companies and McDonald's and Burger King franchises. But the vote comes to power, with power comes to vote. That's why there's a dynamic interplay between civil and civil rights, because one plays upon the other.
Right.
But the vote protects the money. The money invests in the vote, and it's a dynamic between oaths and votes. It kind of goes together.
Yes, absolutely. So I was talking about I want to talk about the impact of Reverend Jackson.
Oaths and votes, you got that?
Yeah, I steal everything you. Everything. No, so Dr. King used to say to pastors when he heard something great, he said, "Now, Joe, the first 3 times you say that, I'm gonna give you credit, but the fourth time is mine."
There you go.
So I want to make it clear that what you're hearing, you're not hearing us say that you get a pass and a seat at the table simply because you're black, or you're Latino, or you're female, or you're Asian, or you're Indian, or you're some minority. Oh, we feel sorry for you. We're going to put incompetence at the table, and everybody else has to deal with that. Be clear, we're not saying that. You cannot be black for a living. You got to be a great leader who happens to be black and not just a black leader. So I'm at what was recently CBS Radio, formerly has been bought, last week, and I'm doing an interview, and I mentioned Reverend Jackson's coming to speak. They light up like a Christmas tree. Now, a friend of mine I've known for 10 years, who's the general manager of that station, is Rick Caffey. Rick Caffey, anybody know Rick Caffey? He's a bad brother, sharp as a tack, clearly competent, and runs a profitable shop. He says, you know something? The company that originally brought this company into the marketplace was going to bring somebody else into this seat, and Reverend Jackson stepped up and said, without screaming, without hollering, look, this is a minority city. It's just not right that you can make all this money on minority people and not give people a shot who are minorities at running at least one seat in this company. Just let me find somebody who's right. Because of Reverend Jackson, I learned Rick Caffey got that job, and it's been profitable every day since.
You know, it concerns
Rick, they should have sent that check to Operation Push.
I'm concerned that there are 32 football teams, and we own 0. We're going from picking cotton balls to picking footballs. It is illegal if you make 10 million. It's illegal to use your money to buy a team. Back up. You make $50 million, it's illegal to spend your money to buy a team. How is that? It's illegal. That's the rules of the 32. They determine who else gets in. And even your money won't spend.
As Colin Kaepernick and Eric Reed.
Baseball teams as in 0. Basketball teams as in 1. And so picking cotton was not so bad. It was that we could not own the field it was planted in. We could not go vertical. We could only pick at the bottom. We could not go vertical and turn the cotton into textiles and textiles into the marketplace. And so today, a challenge that we have is to be able to turn our athletic prowess into the marketplace and go vertical, not just go horizontal. Because while we run up and down the field horizontal, getting running and getting gold rings, they run up and down getting silver rings.
And in fact, and the folks sitting in the suites up there, none of them are getting concussions.
And explain this, Andy. For example, the leveraging. This stadium here, this big thing, how was that deal put together?
What was that?
The stadium.
The stadium here in Atlanta.
You would think that Mr. Blankenstein just wrote a check and got a stadium. What all went into making the leverage that capital? Explain that.
No. First of all, the city had to sign a joint agreement on bond guarantee. Now,
bond guarantee.
The city will not be responsible for it. The taxpayers will not be responsible for it. The bond guarantee is tied to, well, everybody staying here tonight, any hotel in Atlanta, you're going to have an extra $1 on your hotel bill per night. And everybody that came to the Final Four or Sweet 16 last weekend, everybody that came spent at least $1 a night toward helping us pay for that stadium.
Number 2, next.
Well,
what I'm trying to get to, the man did not just write the check and get the stadium. The bond deal and the leveraging of capital is way beyond just a savings account. Keep going.
Well, no, the football team, the league, the NFL, has certain guarantees of television revenues that are pledged against that stadium.
3, next.
Well, Arthur Blank did have to write a check, but not as big a check as you think he bought.
Well, my point is, if you get the football team,
right,
you get the cotton pickers and the ball pickers. You get a letter of intent to get, but letter of intent, everything else flows. He wrote a relatively small check, and he owns a whole campus.
So what you're saying, Reverend, is he buys this team, he gets a new stadium, he writes a smaller check, he leverages that to get the city, to get all of that, and the value of his team now goes past $2 billion by virtue of the new stadium. And so what was initially a $300, $400, $500, $600 million investment, like the Houston Texans owner, that team is now worth $2.5 billion. And he got a new stadium because he leveraged the state team to get the stadium.
So let me see if I want to make sure we're all saying the same thing.
Can I break it down just
leverage
to our level, to our mayor? When she and her husband came out of law school, he went to work for Home Depot. And he could buy Home Depot stock at $2 a share. That means every time you bought a Coca-Cola, every time you bought a pack of cigarettes, every time you bought anything, if you had bought a share of Home Depot stock, you would now be a millionaire. And that's how they were able to set aside money, because those $2 shares that started out in the beginning with Home Depot are now worth about $200 a share. And so they were saving money to send their 4 kids to college, and so they started out buying $2 shares.
Sharecropper to shareholder.
And they were able to then, having that stock, leverage that stock to buy, whether it's a home or even...
Well, they got in trouble because they got criticized because people said, why can 2 young black people have a home in Martha's Vineyard that cost $1 million? It wouldn't have been a problem if it had been 2 white lawyers having a home down in Sea Island that cost $2 million. But it was just unusual that these folk who went to Douglas and Mays say had enough sense not to buy cigarettes, but to buy stock.
Now, John, I want to get to that point there.
Yeah, they got the memo.
I want to get to, when I was speaking to a public housing complex in Bryan, I had a session, we were talking. The woman said, "I have no money," and she was holding a bottle of soda. I said, "Yes, you do," and she said, "Well, I don't." I said, "Could you have drank water?" She and I said, "Now look, we all want to drink whatever we want to,"
right.
But she did not think that the cost of that was actual money. She said, "No, I bought it, but I'm broke." You encountered that where people say, "I'm broke." You dealt with the young brothers in the Nikes.
That's right.
Tell the story when you were trying to get them to understand, one who wanted to buy the shoes and one said, "I don't."
So we go to this financial literacy course, Reverend Jackson, in Detroit. We're teaching banking our future. And young man comes in with a...
We need that Roland Martin that we see. That's not the Roland Martin. Roland Martin don't talk. Anybody that watches Roland Martin, right? That's the guy on the far right. He is not talking like that no more. This right here is the most I've heard Roland Martin talk about investing. Earning, spending less than invested. I talk about every day on this channel. Don't buy soda water. Don't buy cigarettes. Buy stocks instead. Stack money, act broke. Man, if Roland Martin would talk like that every single day on this channel, I think, in my personal opinion, chat, Roland Martin is being paid to talk how he talks right now every single day. That's what I think, chat.
Suit on to teach the class and of color. The young man in the front row, all his boys are listening to the class, but young man Derek is paying attention. Second session, young man Derek raises his hand, asking questions, and by the third week, he comes with a suit on, just like the guy who's teaching the class, trying to mirror what he sees. He graduates, gets a certificate. He's walking down the hall. Get this now. This is poverty and mentality. He's walking down the hall. His friends say, "Man, why are you hanging out with those people? That ain't about nothing. What you want that for?" I'm walking down the hall, so I go and say, "Hey, man, let me get you and your friends together. I'm going to give you each $70. Make a decision about Nike." Two friends said, "Well, I'm going to buy me some Air Jordan," which you need another $30. Derek says, "I want to buy a share of Nike stock." Two friends jump on him. "Man, why you want to get that stock? That's some stupid thing. You know, you don't want no stock. You want some Air Jordans. Everybody in shoes got some Air Jordans, some fuchsia Air Jordans, some black Air Jordans, some striped Air Jordans, some leather Air Jordans. Everybody in schools got some Air. You need to stop being stupid and get you some Air Jordans." I go to defend his honor, put my hand on, "Man, you okay?" He said, No, it's cool. I want them to buy those shoes." Because when they do, they're making me money. And this is how we need to upgrade our mental software. Because when you hang around 9 broke people, I guarantee you'll be the 10th.
Now, Reverend Jackson, Reverend Jackson.
May I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
We got a thousand churches teaching financial literacy in the stock market game. What's an app, what's the code, what's the bull, what's the bad, fundamental stuff. Because it's not that people are apathetic, people are ignorant, don't know any better.
That's right.
And those who teach ignorant, they simply spread it.
Yeah.
Let's go a step further.
Yeah.
After 6 weeks of financial stock market game, we took a group downtown to the Chicago Board of Trade, and we had told them, we gave each them $100 on how to make their money grow. Money will grow on trees. It was planted in money mud. Money will grow on trees.
I'm still in that one too, brother.
Well, where I got that from was Ted Turner one time gave a bigger nod to the United Nations. They said, "Ted Turner, well, you're showing off." He said, "No, I want to be a good guy." "No, you was trying to get CNN and different markets." He said, "No." He said, "How'd you give it?" He said, "I went to bed, I was worth $1 billion. I woke up, I was worth $3 billion. And so I gave $1 billion to do a righteous thing." The money was growing while he was sleeping. The money was planted and it grew. So in our little situation back home, we had the children lined up putting on the T-shirts on. The little girl named Tuesday would not put a T-shirt on. I thought she was being recalcitrant and kind of not kind. She has some raggedy blue jeans. I thought she was raggedy because she was impoverished. I didn't know that she bought them raggedy. I didn't understand. Yeah.
I don't understand what the hell that mean either. Buying raggedy jeans.
I understand.
Get it.
And so she said, "Is the press out front?" We said, "Yeah, the camera's here." She said, "Well, I want to wear my own T-shirt because I have bought some stock in Old Navy, and kids my age, I want to advertise my brand and make my money grow." She had learned in 6 weeks the science that you don't just wrap fish in the financial section. So if our kids come out of school and don't vote, they've not been taught to vote. They come out and don't spend capital, they've not been taught. Say children must be taught the power of their vote. Every high school senior class, 17 years old today, 18 by November, is eligible to register and vote now. Every high school senior for 12 years been buying, not investing, sinking, and not rising. If we teach stock market, we'll know stock market. If we teach voting, we'll know voting. And I challenge teachers, Andy, to teach what matters, and votes and stocks matter.
Ambassador Young.
Here's what we teach and don't believe. Ted Turner had $3 billion and pledged $1 billion to the United Nations.
I did that last night.
And about 2 years later,
I gotta rewind that.
CNN and the United Nations had gotten so big that somebody bought them out for $9 billion.
Gotta go.
AOL.
This video.
See? And so I was on the United Nations board, and I said, "Ted, you don't believe in God." See, he says he's an atheist. I said, "But I just want you to notice that you gave $1 billion and you got $9 billion back. You can't beat God given." Now,
and he probably said,
"Write that down."
Thank you, Jesus.
You've heard that over and over and over again. But when you invest money and when you give money properly, it grows. And that's what we're about. We're about understanding the money. And I've been as guilty as anybody else. And Dr. King was guilty of not taking the time to understand money because he was afraid. He said, every civil rights organization that has been undermined by money. Most of our churches. But the other thing my daddy taught me when I was a little bitty boy, he said, "See this soap? This is ivory soap. It's 99 and 44/100% pure." He said, "Now that's pretty good." I said, "Yeah." He said, "That ain't good enough for you. Ivory soap is white and you black. You cannot cut a corner. They're going to be watching you cutting a corner. You have to be 100% if you're dealing with other people's money or your own."
That's right.
And so that honesty and integrity factor has got to go into everything we do, and they don't believe that there's nobody watching you.
That's right.
The more successful you get,
that's right,
the more people are trying to figure how to take you down.
That's right.
Now, unfortunately, that's the way life is.
That's right.
Well, in the fact that the sum total of lessons that we've learned all matter. For example, when I hear that I have a dream part, the climax part that Roland refers to all the time, from Texas to Florida to Maryland, we couldn't use a single public toilet, medical degree, PhD degree, or whatever degree you had. We could not take a picture of the lawn of a state capitol from Texas to Florida to Maryland. We could not buy ice cream at Howard Johnson. We could not run a room at Holiday Inn. Black and brown soldiers cried because they had to sit behind Nazi POWs. So even money without dignity does not work. Dignity matters. Dr. King let us on the dignity. Out of the dignity comes the self-worth and the community worth. And so Dr. King taught what was in time. He took us from Jim Crow to right to vote. Now we have some unfinished business. When people go to Memphis next week, don't just come to the balcony where he was slain. Beyond the crucifixion, the resurrection. He ain't there. The stone has been rolled away. He gone. The stone has been rolled away. He marched in Washington Saturday when his grandchild spoke. He marched. He's alive when we got Mandela out of jail. He marched when we got Aristide out of back into Haiti. And even under the Trump situation, when it's real dark, you see the stars more clearly. This year, we had the governor's race in New Jersey. We won the governor's race and got a black lieutenant governor, even under the Trump era. In Virginia, one guy chose a Confederate flag. We chose another. We won, got a black lieutenant governor out of Virginia. And with Trump and Roy Moore, we beat them in Alabama. We can take the Congress back.
Black woman running for Georgia, black man running for governor in Florida.
And the votes are there, the mentality is there. 500,000 blacks in Georgia unregistered. If our mind is there, the means are here. If we use the means, we'll get our goal.
Last question.
But let's
go ahead.
While we talk, I'm all for politics, but everybody can't be governor. Everybody can't be mayor. We had 9 people. We had 4 guys from Morehouse that couldn't talk to each other, and we came within less than 1,000 votes of losing all of the progress that we've made in this city. When you go up to your room tonight, look out. Any way you look, south, north, east, or west, none of that was there when Dr. King was slain. I came back here, Maynard came back here and ran for the Senate. I came back and got pushed into Congress. Not because I wanted to be a congressman, but that was the last meeting we had before Martin Luther King went to Memphis that Monday morning. He was with John Conyers, Harry Belafonte, Dick Hatcher, and myself and Ralph Abernathy, and he was saying we got to take this energy that we have in the streets marching, and we've somehow got to translate it into electable officials so that we don't have to march every time we want to do something. Now, once we get somebody in, I was glad that I got sworn in as mayor, not wanting to be. At 10:30 in the morning, I got to City Hall about 1 o'clock. At 2 o'clock, they came to get me out of the office, and I hadn't even gotten my shoes off and gotten comfortable. They say, they picketing you out there. I said, who's picketing me? Said, I don't know, there's a whole bunch of folk out there. They saying, tell old Pharaoh to let my people go. And I go out there, there's Jose Williams, and James Bevel, and James Orange, and all my boys. I said, what? And then I realized, this is a blessing. The more hell you raise with me, the more leverage I got. So pick it on. We'll sing We Shall Overcome Together. And so you got to, when you put somebody in, you got to back them up and make them do the things that are hard to do.
Are you suggesting the lack of applied pressure on Barack Obama did not help us?
It hurt him.
I'll say it.
And
The
it
answer
hurt
is
us.
yes. The answer is yes.
We never would have let anybody get away with bailing out the automobile industry and losing 2/3 of the black dealerships. I mean, we wouldn't have, and it wasn't just him, but none of.
Did y'all catch that chat? Along with what Donald Trump said on his friend Jesse Jackson. Did y'all catch that right there? Let's rewind that. Did y'all catch that? Y'all, everybody seen what Donald Trump wrote the same day that Jesse Jackson passed away. Mind you, Jesse Jackson and Donald Trump been friends since before, well, right along 40 years. Well, I'm gonna say about 30 years they've been friends. Listen what Jesse Jackson says when it comes to Barack Obama.
Oh, I said, what? And then I realized this is a blessing. The more hell you raise with me, the more leverage I got. So pick it on. We'll sing We Shall Overcome Together. And so you got to, when you put somebody in, you got to back them up and make them do the things that are hard to do.
Are you suggesting the lack of applied pressure on Barack Obama did not help us?
It hurt him.
Are you suggesting that the lack of applied pressure by Barack Obama didn't help us?
I'll say it.
And
The
it
answer
hurt
is yes.
us.
The answer is yes.
We never would have let anybody get away with bailing out the automobile industry and losing 2/3 of the black dealerships. I mean, we wouldn't have, and it wasn't just him, but none of us were close to him. And it was your mayor, Rahm Emanuel, and the former Secretary of Treasurer, what was his name from
Bill
Harvard?
Daley.
No, the treasurer from Harvard.
Oh, Jack Lew.
No, but anyway.
Which one?
Larry Summers.
Oh, White House Council Economic Advisor.
Yeah, they would not let even Sheila Baird, who spoke at this conference a few years ago, they wouldn't let her talk.
She quit.
They wouldn't let Elizabeth Warren talk to Barack Obama. He was isolated from people who could have helped him to help us. And it wasn't right.
Now, are y'all hearing what he's saying? They didn't let Barack Obama talk to them. Once Obama got elected, once he became the president, whoever was the powers that be that was controlling Barack Obama wouldn't let him talk to these guys. You understand where I'm going? You understand what they're saying? The powers that be understood what was happening. And because Barack Obama was the president and Barack Obama had all the power, they wasn't going to let Barack Obama use that power to build us up to another level, like what Jesse Jackson and the great Andrew Young and John Bryant been talking about this whole sit-down meeting. They wouldn't let Barack Obama help lower black people, basically. That's what they're saying. But I'm breaking it down like a 9th or 10th grader. They wouldn't let Barack Obama. That was an agreement they had. Barack Obama was kind of selfish in that matter. Why, Stock Sniper? Because he was more concerned about being the president than helping black people and taking us to the next level. That's my opinion, and that's how they're explaining it. So Barack Obama understood that we're going to make you president, but your handlers, you can't go down there and help those communities with this power. No. That's not written in the contract of President Barack Obama. That's not written in the contract. That's basically what they're saying. Let me rewind it.
You put somebody in, you got to back them up and make them do the things that are hard to do.
Are you suggesting the lack of applied pressure on Barack Obama did not help us?
It hurt him.
You heard what Andrew Young just said. Let me rewind it. That's what made Jesse Jackson ask him that question.
And I go out there, there's Jose Williams, and James Bevel, and James Orange, all my boys. I said, what? And then I realized, this is a blessing. The more hell you raise with me, the more leverage I got. So pick it on. We'll sing We Shall Overcome Together. And so you got to, when you put somebody in, you got to back them up and make them do the things that are hard to do.
They put Barack Obama in, and you have to back him up and make him do things that is hard to do. Watch what Jesse Jackson asked him right after he made that statement.
Are you suggesting the lack of applied pressure on Barack Obama did not help us?
It hurt him.
I'll say it.
And
The
it
answer
hurt
is
us.
yes. The answer is yes.
We never would have let anybody get away with bailing out the automobile industry and losing 2/3 of the black dealerships. I mean, we wouldn't have, and it wasn't just him, but none of us were close to him. And it was your mayor, Rahm Emanuel, and the former Secretary Treasurer, what was his name from
Bill
Harvard?
Daley.
No, the treasurer from Harvard.
Oh, Jack Lew.
No, but anyway.
Which one?
Typical
Larry
typical
something.
old school
House
guy.
Economic Advisor.
Yeah, they would not let even Sheila Baird, who spoke at this conference a few years ago, they wouldn't let her talk.
She quit.
They wouldn't let Elizabeth Warren talk to Barack Obama. He was isolated from people who could have helped him to help us. And it wasn't racial. And that's why you have to find a way. I never took a penny from the Carter campaign, because I wanted to have the leverage. I didn't need a job. I needed him to know that we were bringing all of the SCLC, Martin Luther King, Black College folk together behind him. And that's what gave me the access to say whatever I needed to say.
All he had was peanuts.
Last question.
Huh?
You ain't right for that, Reverend. You ain't right. You ain't
That's
right.
all they gave him.
You ain't right.
All he had to have was
George
peanuts.
Washington
He
Carver
loved
did a hell of a
peanuts.
whole lot with that peanut.
It was a joke.
Last question.
But he wasn't from Plains, Georgia.
There are
Jackson was something
a lot
else.
of people hearing this conversation, and I guarantee you somebody in this room is saying, man, if we can just get all of the decision makers together and get consensus, we can sort of fix this problem. The reality is there are more people sitting in this room right now than who were sitting in the church basement in Montgomery in
I
1955.
gotta go back.
His friends say, man, why are you hanging out with those people? That ain't about
that the cost of that was actual money. She said, no, I bought it, but I'm broke. You encountered that where people say, I'm broke. You dealt with the young brothers in the Nikes.
That's right.
Tell the story when you were trying to get them to understand, one who wanted to buy the shoes and one said, I don't.
So we go to this financial literacy course, Reverend Jackson, in Detroit. We're teaching banking our future. And a young man comes in with a suit on to teach the class and of color. The young man in the front row, all his boys are listening to the class, but young man Derek is paying attention. Second session, young man Derek raises his hand, asking questions, and by the third week, he comes with a suit on, just like the guy who's teaching the class, trying to mirror what he sees. He graduates, gets a certificate. He's walking down the hall. Get this now. This is poverty and mentality. He's walking down the hall. His friends say, man, why are you hanging out with those people? That ain't about nothing. What you want that for? I'm walking down the hall, so I go and say, hey, man, let me get you and your friends together. I'm going to give you each $70. Make a decision about Nike. two friends said, well, I'm gonna buy me some Air Jordan, which you need another 30 bucks. Derek says, I want to buy a share of Nike stock. Two friends jump on him. Man, why you want to get that stock? That's some stupid thing. You know, you don't want no stock. You want some Air Jordans. Everybody in shoes got some Air Jordans, some fuchsia Air Jordans, some black Air Jordans, some striped Air Jordans, some leather Air Jordans. Everybody in schools got some Air. You need to stop being stupid and get you some Air Jordans. I go to defend his honor, put my hand on, man, you okay? He said, no, it's cool. I want them to buy those shoes. Because when they do, they're making me money. And this is how we need to upgrade our mental software. Because when you hang around 9 broke people, I guarantee you you'll be the 10th.
Now, Reverend Jackson, Reverend Jackson.
May I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
We got 1,000 churches teaching financial literacy in the stock market game. What's an app, what's the code, what's the bull, what's the bad, fundamental stuff. Because it's not that people are apathetic, people are ignorant, don't know any better.
That's right.
And if those who teach you ignorant, they simply spread it.
Yeah.
Let's go a step further.
Yeah.
After 6 weeks of financial stock market game, we took a group downtown to the Chicago Board of Trade, and we had told them, we gave each of them $100 on how to make their money grow. Money will grow on trees. It was planted in money mud. Money will grow on trees. It was planted in money mud.
I'm still in that one too, brother.
Well, where I got that from was Ted Turner one time gave a $1 billion to the United Nations. They said, Ted Turner, well, you're showing off. He said, no, I want to be a good guy. No, you was trying to get CNN and different markets. He said, no. He said, how'd you give it? He said, I went to bed, I was worth $1 billion. I woke up, I was worth $3 billion. And so I gave $1 billion to do a righteous thing. The money was growing while he was sleeping. The money was planted and it grew. So in our little situation back home, we had the children lined up, putting on the T-shirts on. A little girl named Tuesday would not put a T-shirt on. I thought she was being recalcitrant and kind of not kind. She had some raggedy blue jeans. I thought she was raggedy because she was impoverished. I didn't know that she bought them raggedy. I didn't understand. Yeah.
I don't understand what the hell that mean either. Buying raggedy jeans.
I understand.
Get it.
And so she said, is the press out front? We said, yeah, the camera's here. She said, well, I want to wear my own T-shirt because I have bought some stock in Old Navy. And kids my age, I want to advertise my brand and make my money grow. She had learned in 6 weeks the science that you don't just wrap fish in the financial section. So if our kids come out of school and don't vote, they've not been taught to vote. They come out and don't spend capital, they've not been taught. Say children must be taught the power of their vote. Every high school senior class, 17 years old today, 18 by November, is eligible to register and vote now. Every high school senior for 12 years been buying, not investing, sinking, and not rising. If we teach stock market, we'll know stock market. If we teach voting, we'll know voting. And I challenge teachers, Andy, to teach what matters. And votes and stocks matter.
Ambassador Young.
Here's what we teach and don't believe. Ted Turner had $3 billion and pledged $1 billion to the United Nations. And about 2 years later, CNN and the United Nations had gotten so big that somebody bought them out for $9 billion.
AOL, yep.
See? And so I was on the United Nations board, and I said, Ted, you don't believe in God. See, he says he's an atheist. I said, but I just want you to notice that you gave $1 billion and you got $9 billion back. You can't beat God-given. Now,
and he probably said,
write that down.
Thank you, Jesus.
You've heard that over and over and over again. But when you invest money and when you give money properly, it grows. And that's what we're about. We're about understanding the money. And I've been as guilty as anybody else. And Dr. King was guilty of not taking the time to understand money, because he was afraid. He said, every civil rights organization that has been undermined by money. Most of our churches. But the other thing my daddy taught me when I was a little bitty boy, he said, see this soap? This is ivory soap. It's 99 and 44/100% pure. He said, now that's pretty good. I said, yeah. He said, that ain't good enough for you. Ivory soap is white, and you black. You cannot cut a corner. They're going to be watching you cutting a corner. You have to be 100% if you're dealing with other people's money or your own.
That's right.
And so that honesty and integrity factor has got to go into everything we do, and they don't believe that there's nobody watching you.
That's right.
Well, you should.
Because when they do, they're making me money. And this is how we need to upgrade our mental software. Because when you hang around 9 broke people, I guarantee you, you'll be the 10th.
Now, Reverend Jackson, Reverend Jackson.
May I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
We got a thousand churches teaching financial literacy in the stock market game. What's an app, what's the code, what's the bull, what's the bad, fundamental stuff. Because it's not that people are apathetic, people are ignorant, don't know any better.
That's right.
And if those who teach you ignorant, they simply spread it.
Yeah.
Let's go a step further.
Yeah.
After 6 weeks of financial stock market game, we took a group downtown to the Chicago Board of Trade, and we had told them, we gave each of them $100 on how to make their money grow. Money will grow on trees. It was planted in money mud. Money will grow on trees if it's planted in money mud.
I'm still in that one too, brother.
Well, where I got that from was Ted Turner one time gave a $1 billion to the United Nations. They said, Ted Turner, well, you're showing off. He said, no, I want to be a good guy. No, you was trying to get CNN and different markets. He said, no. He said, how'd you give it? He said, I went to bed, I was worth $1 billion. I woke up, I was worth $3 billion. And so I gave a financial.
Look, because when they do, they're making me money. And this is how we need to upgrade our mental software. Because when you hang around 9 broke people, I guarantee you, you'll be the 10th.
Now, Reverend Jackson, Reverend Jackson.
May I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
We got a thousand churches teaching financial literacy in the stock market game. What's an app, what's the code, what's the bull, what's the bad, fundamental stuff. Because it's not that people are apathetic, people are ignorant, don't know any better.
That's right.
And if those who teach you ignorant, they simply spread it.
Yeah.
Let's go a step further.
Yeah.
After 6 weeks of financial stock market game, we took a group downtown to the Chicago Board of Trade, and we had told them, we gave each of them $100 on how to make their money grow. Money will grow on trees. It was planted in money mud. Money will grow on trees if it's planted in money mud.
I'm still in that one too, brother.
Well, where I got that from was Ted Turner one time gave a $1 billion to the United Nations. They said, Ted Turner, well, you're showing off. He said, no, I want to be a good guy. No, you was trying to get CNN and different markets. He said, no. He said, how'd you give it? He said, I went to bed, I was worth $1 billion. I woke up, I was worth $3 billion. And so I gave $1 billion to do a righteous thing. The money was growing while he was sleeping. The money was planted and it grew. So in our little situation back home, we had the children lined up, putting on the T-shirts on. A little girl named Tuesday would not put a T-shirt on. I thought she was being recalcitrant and kind of not kind. She had some raggedy blue jeans. I thought she was raggedy because she was impoverished. I didn't know she bought them raggedy. I didn't understand. Yeah.
I don't understand what the hell that mean either. Buying raggedy jeans.
I understand.
Get it.
And so she said, is the press out front? We said, yeah, the camera's here. She said, well, I want to wear my own T-shirt because I have bought some stock in Old Navy, and kids my age, I want to advertise my brand and make my money grow. She had learned in 6 weeks the science that you don't just wrap fish in the financial section. So if our kids come out of school and don't vote, they've not been taught to vote. They come out and don't spend capital, they've not been taught. Say children,
Right.
say children must be taught the power of their vote. Every high school senior class, 17 years old today, 18 by November, is eligible to register and vote now. Every high school senior for 12 years been buying, not investing, sinking, and not rising. If we teach stock market, we'll know stock market. If we teach voting, we'll know voting. And I challenge teachers, Andy, to teach what matters, and votes and stocks matter.
Ambassador Young.
Here's what we teach and don't believe. Ted Turner had $3 billion and pledged $1 billion to the United Nations. And about 2 years later, CNN and the United Nations had gotten so big that somebody bought them out for $9 billion.
AOL, yep.
See?
What
And
up,
so
ATL
I was
Till?
on the
Appreciate you for
United
joining me,
Nations
bro.
board, and I said, Ted, you don't believe in God. See, he says he's an atheist. I said, but I just want you to notice that you gave $1 billion and you got $9 billion back. You can't beat God given. Now,
and he probably said,
write
thank
that down.
Thank you,
You've
Jesus.
heard that over and over and over again. But when you invest money and when you give money properly, it grows. And that's what we're about. We're about understanding the money. And I've been as guilty as anybody else. And Dr. King was guilty of not taking the time to understand money, because he was afraid. He said, every civil rights organization that has been undermined by money. Most of our churches. But the other thing my daddy taught me when I was a little bitty boy, he said, see this soap? This is ivory soap. It's 99 and 44/100% pure. He said, now that's pretty good. I said, yeah. He said, that ain't good enough for you. Ivory soap is white, and you black. You cannot cut a corner. They're going to be watching you cutting a corner. You have to be 100% if you're dealing with other people's money or your own.
That's right.
And so that honesty and integrity factor has got to go into everything we do, and they don't believe that there's nobody watching you.
That's right.
The more successful you get,
That's right.
the more people are trying to figure how to take you down.
That's right.
Now, unfortunately, that's the way life is.
That's right.
Well, in the fact that the sum total of lessons that we've learned all matter. For example, when I hear that I have a dream part, the climax part that Roland refers to all the time, from Texas to Florida to Maryland, we couldn't use a single public toilet, medical degree, PhD degree, or whatever degree you had. We could not take a picture of the lawn of a state capitol from Texas to Florida to Maryland. We could not buy ice cream at Howard Johnson. We could not run a room at Holiday Inn. Black and brown soldiers cried because they had to sit behind Nazi POWs. So even money without dignity does not work. Dignity matters. Dr. King led us on the dignity. Out of the dignity comes the self-worth and the community worth. And so Dr. King taught what was in time. He took us from Jim Crow to right to vote. Now we have some unfinished business. When people go to Memphis next week, don't just come to the balcony where he was slain. Beyond the crucifixion is the resurrection. He ain't there. The stone has been rolled away. He gone. The stone has been rolled away. He marched in Washington Saturday. when his grandchild spoke. He marched, he's alive when we got Mandela out of jail. He marched when we got Aristide out of, back in Haiti. And even under the Trump situation, when it's real dark, you see the stars more clearly. This year, we had the governor's race in New Jersey. We won the governor's race and got a black lieutenant governor, even under the Trump era. In Virginia, one guy chose a Confederate flag. We chose another. We won, got a black lieutenant governor out of Virginia. And with Trump and the Royal Moore, we beat them in Alabama. We can take the Congress back.
Black woman running for Georgia, black man running for governor in Florida.
And the votes are there, the mentality is there. 500,000 blacks in Georgia unregistered. If our mind is there, the means are here. If we use the means, we'll get our goal.
Last question.
But let's
go ahead.
While we talk, I'm all for politics, but everybody can't be governor. Everybody can't be mayor. We had 9 people. We had 4 guys from Morehouse that couldn't talk to each other, and we came within less than 1,000 votes of losing all of the progress that we've made in this city. When you go up to your room tonight, look out. Any way you look, south, north, east, or west, none of that was there when Dr. King was slain. I came back here, Maynard came back here and ran for the Senate. I came back and got pushed into Congress. Not because I wanted to be a congressman, but that was the last meeting we had before Martin Luther King went to Memphis that Monday morning. He was with John Conyers, Harry Belafonte, Dick Hatcher, and myself and Ralph Abernathy, and he was saying we got to take this energy that we have in the streets marching, and we've somehow got to translate it into electable officials so that we don't have to march every time we want to do something. Now, once we get somebody in, I was glad that I got sworn in as mayor, not wanting to be. At 10:30 in the morning, I got to City Hall about 1 o'clock. At 2 o'clock, they came to get me out of the office, and I hadn't even gotten my shoes off and gotten comfortable. They say, they picketing you out there. I said, who's picketing me? Say, I don't know, there's a whole bunch of folk out there. They say, and tell old Pharaoh to let my people go. And I go out there, there's Jose Williams, and James Bevel, and James Orange, all my boys. I said, what? And then I realized, this is a blessing. The more hell you raise with me, the more leverage I got. So pick it on. We'll sing We Shall Overcome Together. And so you got to, when you put somebody in, you got to back them up and make them do the things that are hard to do.
Are you suggesting the lack of applied pressure on Barack Obama did not help us?
It hurt him.
I'll say it.
And
The
it
answer
hurt
is
us.
yes. The answer is yes.
We never would have let anybody get away with bailing out the automobile industry and losing 2/3 of the black dealerships. I mean, we wouldn't have, and it wasn't just him, but none of us were close to him. And it was your mayor, Rahm Emanuel, and the former Secretary of Treasury, what was his name from
Bill
Harvard?
Daley. Daley.
No, the treasurer from Harvard.
Oh, Jack Lew.
No, but anyway.
Which one?
Larry Summers.
Oh, White House Council Economic Advisor.
Yeah, they would not let even Sheila Baird, who spoke at this conference a few years ago, they wouldn't let her talk.
She quit.
They wouldn't let Elizabeth Warren talk to Barack Obama. He was isolated from people who could have helped him to help us. And it wasn't racial. And that's why you have to find a way. I never took a penny from the Carter campaign. Because I wanted to have the leverage. I didn't need a job. I needed him to know that we were bringing all of the SCLC, Martin Luther King, Black College folk together behind him. And that's what gave me the access to say whatever I needed to say.
All he had was peanuts.
Last question. You ain't right for that, Reverend. You ain't right. You ain't right. You ain't right. George Washington Carver did a hell of a whole lot with that peanut.
Mouth, so you listen twice as much as you talk. Come back tomorrow with an open mind and a filled pen, and be ready to get to work. Number 2, we need to stop saying stupid things like we hate rich people. No, you don't. You hate rich people until you become rich. So what we're saying is, I don't understand the system. I'm smart, and I thought that I should succeed, and when I don't, the rest of the system must be corrupt, because we never got the memo on money and how this system works, which is fair, a fair analogy. Now, what we did here to bring this home, we got billionaires here tonight, next to multi-millionaires, next to Fortune 500 CEOs, next to thousandaires, next to somebody trying to buy some air. And at the next time we do this, I want my white rural brothers in this room too, because they got the same problem that my urban black brothers and sisters have. Yes, when Mason has a headache, black folks got pneumonia, but we're all sick. But they're all dealing with a 500 credit score neighborhood, with a check casher next to a payday loan lender, next to a rent-to-own store, next to a liquor store. And I'm tired of us pitting each other against each other. Ignorant people against ignorant people, frustrated people against frustrated people. You can take no pleasure from the fact that there's a hole in my end of our boat. We're all in this thing together. And we need to recognize what Ambassador Young has said eloquently and Reverend Jackson said in a different way, and you say it every day on your programs. We've all said the same thing. Whether you're white, black, red, brown, or yellow, we all want to see some more green. We can agree on that. Here's what Dr. King said, I believe in '68. You cannot legislate goodness. You cannot pass a law to force someone to respect you. The only way to social justice in a capitalist country is economics and ownership. Now, we don't repeat that quote, but we need to be rocking all of this, because it was a march for jobs and freedom. Jobs and freedom.
Reverend Jackson.
One of the lessons we take away from here tonight is there are 4 million African Americans in the South today unregistered to vote. The former slave states have the key to our destiny. 2.5 million blacks in the South registered who did not vote. Voting is important because voters determine justices on the courts. Voting is important because the rich people can take $26 billion from affordable health and give it to the top 1%. So the power of politics can make some irrational decisions at the expense of poor people. So the first thing is understand we must become maximize our vote, because voting matters. And the kind of things that Andy and Maynard Jackson did for Atlanta is available everywhere if you can leverage capital, but you can't leverage it unless you're in the seat of power to do the leveraging. Second piece is that buy shares of stock.
Yep.
Learn to buy shares and teach your children to buy shares. John Rogers is real often. Yep. John Rogers' parents, when he was a child, bought him stock at Christmas, not just stockings and balls. He learned to play ball. He did that through college as well, but he learned 9, 10, 11, he was reading the stock market page. Teach your children the stock market page and teach them stock market games. The third thing is learn how to leverage capital. I was trying to push Andy on the fact that Mr. Blinken, what is the name? Arthur Blinken?
Arthur Blank.
Yeah. He put up relatively little money, but now a casino owner, but he leveraged. If I get the letter, if somebody tells me that Jesse Jackson, you own the rights to the Atlanta Falcons football team, I have no money. I can take the letter of intent to own them and go to the city and get some property. Take the intent and get ads, intent and get banks. Letter of intent, which is leverage. We must also, in addition to getting shares, learn how to leverage capital. And I think no one has leveraged capital, I think, better than the Young has, and the men as a tandem. Because you would not have had the Olympics in Atlanta had not, and they may not leveraged their collective moral authority to get the Olympics in Atlanta. Leveraging matters. And when I look up, and also the reason why I want you writers to interpret properly, when Alabama played Georgia in the big football game here, it really was the King Bowl, because you had, on the one hand, you had George Wallace with his never, ever in his graveyard, and they were playing ball. Lester Maddox and his, another king in his. And that game would not have been possible had we not leveraged our strength to make it possible, and to have ball analysts interpreting the game and not representing what made the game possible makes us feel diminished. We cannot allow any more erasing of our history. Our history must not be erased. We must, in fact, take light in dark places.
Ambassador Andrew Young.
Well, forgive me, but I have never been smart enough to know what I was supposed to do the next day. And I don't know what to tell you to do. But what I have done is listen to Isaiah. Wait on the Lord. Be of good courage, and he will strengthen your heart. They that wait on the Lord will renew their strength. They will run and not, they will mount up with wings like eagles. They will run and not get weary. They will walk and not faint. And so I will quote Ralph Abernathy and say, I don't know what the future holds, and I can't give you directions for the future. But I just told you who holds the future, and you know too.
My final comment. I guess it was a couple of years ago, John and I were talking, and John was talking about, hey, I want to get my message out, things along those lines. And I said, John, stop with the little quick little videos. I said, you need to be live streaming on Facebook. And so you passed how many views now?
55 million.
5 million.
55 million.
55 million since we had that conversation. And folks have said, oh my goodness.
You talking about
see your show.
Lee Ching?
If you
talking about the great Andrew Young?
And not staying focused on the future, then you'll lose sight of what's happening. Even though we've been having this conversation in this room, more than 1,000 people, I've already checked. We probably, between John's Facebook page, my Facebook page, YouTube, and Periscope, we've been live streaming this event. So more than 50,000 people have actually been watching this conversation. We didn't ask for a network to cover it. We just simply said, we live stream it ourselves. Cameras out there, I own my own cameras. The point there is, the Reverend, you just made the story about erasing our history. If we allow or wait for someone else to tell our story, then they will own our narrative. If we, and in fact, Dr. King in whether we, Chaos or Community, where do we go from here, he said there has to, a black press must maintain a militant black press in order to represent our interest. The only way this is going to continue to be told is if we are in control of our own narrative.
Oh, thank you, Lee Chung.
We cannot continue in the future.
Wait, Lee Chung.
Ask ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN,
are you a man or a woman?
to tell our story. If we do not own our own media, this conversation cannot go where it needs to be most effective. And so I know what I'm working on. You will hear it soon. But this is about owning our narrative, and that's how we educate our people.
But Roland, we must own it and make sense at the same time.
Oh, I'm gonna make sense, but I'm trying to own it too.
Yeah, but you get my drift?
Yes.
Because if we own it, if we just become chocolate white people, then we'll own it, but the direction won't change. We need more than complexity.
Wait, what did he just say?
Say I am. Somebody.
Somebody.
I am.
I am. Own our own media. This conversation cannot go where it needs to be most affected. And so I know what I'm working on. You will hear it soon. But this is about
watch
owning
Jesse
our
Jackson. He
narrative.
slick talk,
And
Chad.
that's how we educate our people.
But Roland, we must own it and make sense at the same time.
Oh, I'm gonna make sense, but I'm trying to own it too.
Yeah, but you get my drift?
Yes.
Because if we own it, if we just become chocolate white people, then we'll own it, but the direction won't change. We need more than complexion, we need direction. So I am.
That man was
somebody.
Bro, what a good.
Somebody.
I am
Respect
somebody.
Me. Protect me. Never neglect me. I am somebody. My mind is a pearl. I can learn anything. In the world. If my mind can conceive it, and my heart can believe it. I know I can achieve it. Stop the violence. Save the children. Stop the violence. Save the children. Deep water does not drown you.
Does not drown you.
You drown.
You drown.
When you stop kicking.
When you stop kicking.
Kick on.
Reverend, you left one thing. Go ahead and say.
Man, that was great.
Somebody. Respect me. Protect me. Never neglect me. I am somebody. My mind is a pearl. I can learn anything. In the world. If my mind can conceive it, and my heart can believe it.
But this is about owning our narrative.
Then we'll own it, but the direction is a pearl. Direction won't change. We need more than complexion, we need direction. So I am somebody.
Somebody.
I am somebody. Respect me. Protect me. Never neglect me. I am somebody. My mind is a pearl. I can learn anything. In the world. If my mind can conceive it, and my heart can believe it. I know I can achieve it. Stop the violence. Save the children. Stop the violence. Save the children. Deep water does not drown you.
He lost the crowd on that one, Chad.
You drown.
When you stop kicking.
When you stop kicking.
Kick on.
Reverend, you left one thing. Go ahead and say A5.
Man, what a great. What a great conversation. That's not an interview. That right there was a great conversation, a great blueprint, something that you could take home right now on a Sunday and sit at the table with your family and teach the kids, take notes, sit down and talk and have a good family conversation on this great Sunday. Rest in peace to Jesse Jackson. We are somebody. America the great, land of the brave, home of the free. We are somebody. Me and you. Everybody that's watching, I appreciate y'all for joining me, man. We are somebody. I'm somebody. You somebody. Don't let nobody tell you you not. When you have growth and development, don't let nobody hate on your growth and development. Grow. Teach it to your kids and your grandkids. Teach it to the people around the world. With that being said, I love and I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. I got some clipping up to do, man, because the great Jesse Jackson just spoke. That was an old video, but it still applies to this day. History repeats itself. Earn, spend less, make proper investments. Teach it to your kids and grandkids. Teach it to the people in your circle. Teach it to your community. And then do what I did. Get on this internet and teach it to the people around the world. I love and I appreciate y'all, chat. It was a long line. I appreciate everybody for staying with me. I got things I got to do. I got places I got to go. And I got people I got to go see. With that being said, I love and I appreciate y'all. Have a great rest of your day. I love y'all, chat. To the next one. This is the one and only Stock Sniper. And yes, I'm changing the name of the channel to the Freedom of Speech channel. That's what it's going to be. And before I leave, I almost forgot. Hold on, I almost forgot. Chat. I almost forgot about the poll. Jesse Jackson got me fired up. I ain't gonna lie, he got me fired up. So I gotta go to the poll. And after that I gotta end it, but we gotta say what the poll results are. Let's see. Hold up. Okay. We got the poll results. Was Secret Service wrong for what they did to Donald Trump's, or somebody went to Donald Trump's house? If you didn't watch it, we reacted to that earlier. Somebody went to Donald Trump's house and the Secret Service had to take them out. Was the Secret Service wrong for taking the people out, taking that person out? We reacted to the video and it's real close. We had 214 votes. Right now, I want to thank everybody for voting. 48% of the people said yes, Secret Service was wrong for unaliving that man. 52% says no, that Secret Service wasn't wrong. So I got it in the poll right there, chat. It was real close, 50-50. I pretty much understand why it's like that, and that's cool, because this is the Freedom of Speech channel, and I'm your host, the one and only Stock Sniper. Thank y'all for voting. Thank y'all for coming through, rocking with me. I hope I was provide some type of value on this stream to give y'all something to think about. You know, something to think about. So with that being said, I love and I appreciate y'all. To the next one. This the one and only Stock Sniper. Earn, spend less, and invest. Teach it to your kids and grandkids. Teach it to the people in your circle. And then do what I did and come on this internet and teach it to the people around the world. With that being said, I love and I appreciate y'all. To the next one. I'm out. To the next one. I'm out.